Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Michael, Destro Designs. We are live from Viper Den Studios, saved from Mother Nature's attacks this week. I joke not. I'll get into that in a minute. I'd like to welcome in, joining me tonight is my brother, GI Retro, from the GI Retro Show. That was what I should have asked you. Do you got a name you want me to call you, or I can just call you GI Retro? It's up to you.
James, GI Retro, whatever you want to call me. I should have done the same.
I didn't even think about it.
We got a few great Destros in the community, you know?
for sure.
I'm stoked to be here with you.
Yeah, excellent. No, thank you so much for coming on. I greatly appreciate it. I've definitely seen the channel. It's a very well produced thing. I love the concept and the idea behind it. You know your shit, and it comes off great. It's a fun watch, right? I think you've nailed all the important things like production, length, presentation, content. I mean, those are like the big four when you get into, wanting to spend your time looking at something. I think you nail all of those things, and it's like, even though there is a little bit of improvement from episode to episode, you started off at level 10. So it's just really been great. And we are happy as hell to have you in here, brother, for sure.
Well, thank you very much.
Of course. It has been a crazy week, as all of you know if you've watched the videos. I know a bunch of you had. I put up the first video showing you what was going on. I had to move all those empty boxes, and I found out. I think I had said there was 5 contractor bags, and then what I didn't realize when I was putting everything back is I had more empty. Some of the ones that I had put over here were empty. It was crazy. I have so many boxes, and I do feel like a hoarder because I cannot throw them out. I haven't decided. I've heard a couple good ideas. The easiest thing is for me to take the bags and put them up in the rafters of my shop out back, right? I also posted a video of that. I have room. I could just put them up there. It's summer, so it does get a little hot, but I don't know. I can't think of anything else that reasonable that I can do. Really, I want to keep them because if I had one day, I hope to have the space where I can put them all on a wall. I worked hard for that money that I spent on those fucking things. And so for me, in a vain kind of way, I want to have them all up on a wall. Yes, I want you to see that I purchased fucking 16 Night Vipers at once. You know what I mean? That's a little much. That's one of the extreme cases. My biggest true builder is the Python Patrol Viper, but that I didn't pay full price right off the rip. I got 15 of them for $150 at one clip. I think I won a few in a raffle from my brother Jeremy, has the Facebook group The Pit. I'm pretty sure that I won a bunch of stuff. And I think that was the first one I won over there. But anyways, I would like to do something with them. So for now, I'm not getting rid of them until I'm 100% sure that that's what I want to do. Now, my brother, Just Another Jerk, and Evil Dookie had great ideas. They said, ditch the plastic on the inside, just collapse them, and you can put all of them in 2 totes. And I was like, ooh, that's the happy medium, right? Where I've now made it so I still have them, but at the same time, I'm not fucking 5 contractor bags. And then I found what is in essence another 3/4 one. Bro, that's insane. I've remodeled bathrooms that have had less garbage than that. You know what I mean? It's just fucking crazy. But anyways, I'll keep it short because I'm sure everybody has to. So the second video I posted, you saw the fix and what was done. As you can see, everything is back. It may look a little different on this side. It's probably not going to stay this way. I was trying to display this awesome set from Sister the Arsenal better, but then I realized the Atlas is I got to lean for you to see the Atlas, and this right here kind of overhangs. I actually have a light here blowing up, and I'm going to have to move it around a little bit. I might take the Atlas and put it here so you can see it right here, and then move some of the snake armors kind of in this area. But I also wanted to get, where is it? Right here. This is the bar from Moe's Mine. It goes so well with the Fort Mods, the Trench Vipers, this absolutely gorgeous, the blast shield is incredible. This lifts up the detail. I'm going to take some marker and some paint to it and get some because everything's got to have a no step sticker, right, brother? Back in the day, all them G.I. Joe vehicles had a no step on there.
Saw that you posted you were dealing with some stuff, and I saw the imagery of the boxes. My heart sank that your whole setup was going to get wrecked. So I was very relieved, as I'm sure a lot of your friends online were, that nothing seemed to get damaged. So very happy to hear that. I am curious though, what is your ideal what do you want to do with those boxes? Ideally, like in your mind's eye, what is the display that you want with them?
Numbered 1 through whatever. Just start one wall all the way in the top left-hand corner. So I would say
you're an opener, by the way.
It's what?
I love that you're an opener.
Yeah. I appreciate both. I like playing with the stuff. I like setting it up. Like when I'm doing a photo shoot, it's almost like I want to use the photo shoot as a way to actually play with them and be like, I'm not just sitting here doing this. Because, dude, there's times where, I'm down here and I know I don't have enough time to set up a shoot, and I'm just trying. I'm like, you know what? And I got gridiron guns. I did it the other night, and I was like, all right, let me look and see what this looks like in here. What like this? I had like my Night Viper out. I had Trench Viper and one of this guy, the Trooper, the 788 Trooper. It's like one of my favorites. And I was just trying the new gridiron stuff that I had gotten in and out of there, and that's all I did. I was organizing a little bit, put some stuff away, and then that was it. That was good enough. It was enough, I decompressed, and it was and that was it. It was good. So I appreciate both them being opened as well as on the thing. And so now, mind you, I didn't get back into collecting until December of 2024, right? And so a lot of it was I started by, like, at first I didn't know really where to buy them. I saw the Alley Viper on Amazon. So for a while, I was just getting them all from Amazon. And then, so that's when I was using, I had a different Twitter account. The only social media I was doing was I had a Twitter account. The name is Marion Cobretti from the movie Cobra, the Sylvester Stallone character. People in the chat are going to love that. I still have that account. I go over and I look at it. That was mainly because I'm in a bunch of fantasy football leagues. So that account was just for me to keep up to justify buying all those tools, because it was like, oh, I'm doing this job. It's going to pay for itself. And then now I have the tool, and I found ways to do that here. Oh, I'm going to do this photo shoot, even though it's not giving me any money. But like, oh, I'm going to do this photo shoot. I have to get this figure, or I need these lights, or I need this other thing. And so I must have said something or my phone heard it, because in my Twitter feed, all of a sudden I started seeing just toy stuff. And I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? What is this? And like Conrad and CG Horror, Big Red. Oh God, now I'm going to feel bad. Because Jeremy Kimberlin, they were like the first couple people that I saw. God forbid. I hope I'm not fucking missing anybody, because I feel like there was a core 5 or 6 people at first that's who I mostly talked to. And then it just, putting out them good vibes, and it just the atoms came to the nucleus, and next thing you know, we were all a whole ass organism. So you know what? All right, I'll have to go through the chat. I feel like Rock was one of the first people, and Roadblock was definitely there early on too, and he came in really embracing the spirit. So let's go back to the beginning to say what's up to everybody. So anyways, I was on to finish that thought. Just started collecting in 2024. And all I was doing was just buying everything on Amazon. Now there were some that were like 40 and 50 bucks. And I was like, well, I don't want to spend that. So I was buying everything that was like under 25. And then once I got to a point where I was like, okay, there's a lot of these. I was able to go online and look and see how many other ones they were. And I was like, oh, I've got to get his tank. I've got to get like all of this stuff. And so, yeah, some of it was, like, I remember thinking originally, I was like, Red Ninja, the blue ninjas. I was like, I don't want those. And then eventually I saw a Red Ninja on eBay for like 20 bucks. And I was like, all right, I was trying to get the first 10. I had them all except for like the Ninja and the one Cobra Commander. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to buy them. So I have the first 10. And I got the Red Ninja and I was like, this figure is awesome. Everything stores on it. It looks fantastic. And that kind of opened, I was like, all right, maybe I should. And then I just started looking at toy photography of other people and being like, that figure does look good. The biggest example was the Mad Marauder Spirit and Low Light 2-pack. I was like, I can't even look at that. Original Spirit, original Low Light. They're like top tier figures. The deco, just amazing. And I'm like, I can't imagine them wearing anything else. And then I saw one picture. I think it was a promo shot from Matt from Shooting the Galaxy that he did for Pulse. And I saw it and I was like, fuck. They're good, aren't they? I bet they're good. And then so Pulse had it on sale for like 50% off. They were like $27.99. I said, gotta scoop it. As soon as I took it out of the package, I was like, oh my God, both of these figures are incredible. Now, of course, they're not the original, but like they're so good themselves that when you start looking at them, you're like, oh, these are amazing. Like, I'm definitely happy that I got these. And that kind of got it to a point where I started trusting what was there. I'd be like, I may have seen this picture, but I bet it's good. Like one of the other ones was like when they did the retro Viper, right? So they have the Cobra Island Viper, and then they had a color variant of that in the 3-pack where it was 2 blue and 1 gray and red. The Viper 3-pack, the 2 that come in that 3-pack is my favorite. It's in essence the Cobra Island Viper, but it's got the reds are a much deeper muted red. On the Cobra Island, they're shiny, but both sculpts are like amazing, and they just look so good. And then the Crimson Viper is the same deco and everything. But then they came out with the retro, and my first thought was like seeing them, I was like, you know what, it looks fine, but these other ones are definitely the ones that I want. They look battle ready. They look like they've been out in the field. It's just what I like. But then I was like, all right, but I got to get one, because at that point I had a few carded ones that I was like, you know, the Snow Serpent, all of like the troop building Cobras. I was like, I'm going to get those on card and just keep them for the retro because the card looks sort of similar. Yeah. I was like, I'll do that. So I got the retro Viper, and as soon as I opened it, I was like, oh my God, this figure is stunning. Like, and then like the next day, Amazon had them on sale for like $18. So I bought 10 of them, and I traded. I know, it's ridiculous. Last year was a very good year. I wasn't remodeling my house last year.
Good for you.
So I bought 10 of them. Then I wound up trading 6 or 7 of them to my brother Jeremy, because he had the 3-pack ones. And I said, honestly, I can't buy the 3-pack ones for the price I just paid for these retro. Just a straight swap. He's happy. I'm happy. Now, that said, I do have 2 out of the package. I call them my inside Vipers. So if I have like a nice, bright, clean, like armor inside, like a clean looking armory with like this stuff in it, I crack out those Vipers. I have them standing there, and then you see the other Vipers come in and actually grab the weapon and head out the door to go get something done. So originally, not being a completist started with just kind of not liking it, and then somehow, even though I'll break the bank and buy X amount of these other ones, I'm not hung up on not having the ones I don't. Right, the ones I'm just like, I'll get them eventually. CG Horror was nice enough to send me the Serpentor, so thankfully, like, I have that. Right, I'll eventually get. I have a Roadblock again, so generously sent me the Chuckles. I'll eventually get a Mindbender and whatever, and I would like those, and that'll all be fine. But like, so the ones I don't have, I feel like I'll get eventually. You know, the line won't last forever. Even if we get 5-6 more years, I'll still eventually be able to get all of them, you know, God willing or whatever.
Fun having something to chase too, you know?
Sure. Well, that's, yes. So, and it's because like right now it'll come down to like, say if I got money to buy a figure, and I would say, well, what are the new figures that I don't have? Do I want that one more than I want this older figure? And then I just buy what I want right now. And that's kind of how it happens. But there has been, so even though Sundown is an amazing figure, I kind of was like, I don't know, it doesn't fit with anything I have. And not that I have all my stuff displayed either. I just was kind of like, eh. And then I kind of forgot to order Dawn Moreno. But then I was like, no, I think I want that one. I got it. It's amazing. Some of the ones that I was a little unsure about, again, it's so with the way that the retro techno or retro Viper was, I then was like, when they came out with this guy, who is the retro techno Viper, I was like, you know what? I bet I like it. And I do like it. Now, same thing with the other. Here's the original. I like this one better for photo shoots. It just looks more used. And but now, right. But now that I have this guy, he can be the leader of these guys, right? This is the supervisor. He's got the clean uniform. He ain't actually doing shit. I'm probably going to donate his backpack. This dude's going to walk around with a tablet from Mo's Mind, and he's just going to be checking on what everybody's doing. And then these dudes will actually be doing the work. Now, I couldn't tell. I think every size wise, the molds are exactly the same. For some reason, I think it's just the color that's showing me the slight differences, but I think everything is literally the same except for the color. The one thing that it really had me on this too was the card art for this wave. So this guy, the Grunt, and that Wild Bill, they used OG card art, and so I was very ecstatic about that. So I got those guys, and and sometimes I get stuff so generously sent that, like, so my brother Stevie Z had heard me talking about, I was like, I kind of want the Deinonychus, I kind of want the dinosaur, but I don't know if I'd rather buy other things right now. And so Homeboy had sent me amongst a very nice Viper Den Studio shirt and the Hot Wheels hiss. I got this guy. I opened up the other night. Set's awesome. Like, I like the Troop Builder helmet more than I like the just the person head. And I'm probably going to take this claw thing off. And then I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to take all this stuff off, and I'm going to it's a black, like, almost looks like an Under Armour compression shirt that will fit underneath this. And just, I don't know what it is, bro. The sleeveless dudes, it looks so silly. Like, at least the Vipers have like something on their forearm, and it looks reasonable. Like, to me, not having a shirt under there is crazy work when you're working with. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. So I feel like if I get that on him, I'm going to love this figure. I also felt like, for the first time, like the shoulder pads and the chest rig, I was kind of like, oh, this is very customizable stuff. Like, that's something with that helmet I could see on even a more militaristic style figure, and I think it will look good. So the dinosaur is also very good. I know everybody rags on that coyote that comes with the Dusty the Sandstorm figure, and I think it looks a little silly. And I do feel like they did the best they could with this, and it looks fine. But it's just like that polar bear and those timbers that they did originally were so good that it's why I've got them in hand and we're talking about it. I did pick up 2 of these guys, one to stay on card and one to use out. So I have a couple of the green shirt guys. He's just now the leader of the green shirt guys. Like, he's got the very similar thing. The helmet's a little different, and he's just stands out a little bit. But I'm glad that they did him like this, so I know there's people out there that want to do like an OG 13 display, and I think it fits in there real good. And again, the card art on that one is very good. So to just dial that in real quick, my answer, that's kind of where I'm at with is in terms of being a completist. And then I was talking about something else, and I stopped for a second to complete that. I forgot what I was saying. So I was going to the chat. Let's go to the chat, brother. Serpentor's Layers here. He says, I got my floaties ready and swim trunks. Let's go. I'm putting the diving board in next week. Matt from Mo's Mind is here. What's up, my brother? Thank you for coming. Big Red says, I got my goggles and Speedo. Now we're talking, brother. Thank you for making it. I know you got a lot going on with the work, with getting ready to move and everything, so I appreciate you being here. My upstate New York brother Orskizio is here. What is up, my dude? Thanks for coming. Big Red says, tonight, Destro is teaching us the finer things like fish tacos and time wedges. Yeah, yes. Lime wedges, time wedges. Yes, you know it precisely. We are poolside. Shit, I couldn't imagine. I saw up here some people had real problems. I feel like I still got lucky. Storm Shadow 081 is here. What is up, my dude? Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Or Skizio says, off topic. Well, no topic yet, but finally watched Masters of the Universe and liked it more than I thought. Tell you what, we'll talk about that as soon as I get off, because I've watched it a few times. I'll talk about that. Let me get through the chat. Spentor's Lair agrees on that. Big Red agrees on that. Giant Man Size Thing is here. What is up, my dude? Mac Jackson is here. What is up? Thank you for coming, my man. He's trying to save Stargate and the This Never Gets Old podcast. Make sure you're subscribed, tune it in. Pop Cold Frenzy is here, constantly doing the duty, letting us know where the deals are. Are you following Pop Cold Frenzy, GI Retro? You got to be, right?
I am. Yeah, absolutely. Great follow.
100%. It's not only is he giving you deals, it's just great shit to look at all day.
Yes, completely agree. And I've jumped on a few things. In fact, it was a while back now. One of my favorites, though, was version 2 Roadblock retro, the 3/4 inch that I snagged and is sitting in my Tomahawk now. So yeah, very happy.
Nice. I love it. Melted Copper says, what? Who is this new guy? Why is Dimza go for another meet and greet? Yeah. What are you talking? Who is he? Did I miss something? Right. I see what you're saying. No, that's Monday. I knew I missed somebody. Thano Caramales is here. Everybody's seen Thanos' new room. It looks fucking fantastic. Yeah, Melted Copper says design's doing all the hard work. Why why Moster Monday night ran to Japan. I get the joke, brother. I don't know if everybody else does, but I get it. Snow Leopard is here. What is up, my dude? James, Snow Leopard is joining us from the other side of the world. Our dude gets up in the it's 2:30 over there, and I always mention that because I'm so touched that you actually just take that time.
Snow Leopard is great and dutifully comments on what I'm doing at GI Retro, shares it out, and always has really good stuff to say. So where in the world is Snow Leopard then?
I'm not sure. I will, if he wants to say that, I will let him say that. But I'm not. Yeah, but it is quite literally, gotcha. All the way on the other side. Let's see here. Melted Copper is back in here again. He says, "Oh, I lost it." He says, "Happy Saturday night, guys." Oh God, I keep moving this little thing. I hate it when it does this to me. Let's see. I'm very much a novice. Why does it do that? Yeah, I don't have a mouse hooked up, and I am paying the price for that. Melted Copper says, if I say I remodeled the bathroom, it means I fell off the toilet and crapped on the floor. Oh, I was talking about remodel. Yeah, that's right. That's fucking hilarious. But yes, Snow Leopard, thank you for coming, brother. We really greatly appreciate it. Thanos is here. More Melted Copper. Man, this thing is playing games with me. Roadblock is here. What is up, my brother? Shadow Strike Creator in the house. We actually talked the other day, and I literally when all of this craziness was happening, he and I were going back and forth for a while because I was working over here, and then I started getting the phone calls where all these properties needed help, and I was like, dude, I gotta drop out, man. I got a lot going on. Did I miss Stu? I say Serpentor's later. Welcome in. Stu for lunch is here. He says howdy to the fantastic members of the chat. And he says, howdy to Destro, Hydro Viper, and GI Retro. Hydro Viper, yes. Hydro Viper came swimming into me. He's the one that did it. Hydro Viper was the one out there busting through my foundation, drilling holes. Hilarious. Thank you, brother. Matt from Most Mind says, I'm hesitant to say I'm good now. Animus Levels is here. What is up, my dude? We are wrapping up the level. Just to mention it real quick, we are wrapping up the Animus Levels. Last chance to get involved. It's probably going to be, I think, tonight. If I'm in the morning, I'm today. Again, I wound up having so much more to do than expected. I want to put one more video out on Instagram and the other socials to get one last little thing in to see if we can get a push. We are right there on that number that I want to get, and it is good. And special shout out to our brother Cal 327 and Riptide O'Leary, because they have both been. Listen, of course, it takes everybody to donate, and I appreciate everybody, but those fucking guys went way above and beyond to pull this through and reached out and said, hey, they each, first of all, Rip donated the Serpentor, as well as dropped quite a bit right off the beginning. And then later on, we were talking and he was like, oh, okay, here. And he donated again just to bring us closer to that number. Very generous. And Cal basically did the same thing. Last week, I was talking about it, and while we were on the show, he donated another similar amount. So really, really greatly appreciate you guys. Everybody, obviously, but oh, our brother TJ Wims is here. Thank you for stopping by, my dude. If you missed the show, what was that, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? It was an excellent show. We went in on a whole bunch of stuff, and it was an awesome conversation. So make sure he's in the chat as Walter Wims TJ. Click over, subscribe to his channel. He talks about doing collecting on a budget. It's an excellent show. Make sure you are and follow him. But it's TJ Wims on the timeline as well. Stu for lunch back. Storms are jerks. Yes, they are, man. It was fucking brutal. Don't think he's reading the chat. Yeah, I wasn't at first, but I'm here now. Is there a bad storm up north? So yeah, we had it passed over, started in the Great Lakes and then came over upstate. Cal, who is further east in Connecticut, said it was getting him too, but it was the weather people in my area are calling it a once in 1,000-year storm. That's how absolutely out of control it was. So yeah, we definitely got crazy. Rock Lockdown, another one of my upstate New York brothers, says, yo, everyone, can only be on for a bit. We'll want to pop in. Well, thank you so much. If you're not following Rock, make sure you are following him for he does amazing customs. Every time the dude shows a picture, there's 2 new figures in there. And I'm like, wait, who is that? And it's something that he made. Great customizer. I like the way you do it, bro. You don't go too crazy with shit. It's swapping these parts and those parts, and they all look new, like very militaristic guys. It's awesome. Let's see. I feel like I am missing something. Popcorn Frenzy. I got him. All right. I think that brings us in. Make sure you're following Big Red for your daily Joe days. The dude has an amazing collection, and he's getting into classifieds now too. So we were really in trouble. Does take a great picture, writes a great story as well. Mike Ria 4961, welcome in, my brother. How are you? Let us know if you've got a different handle on the social medias, because that happens sometimes. And it's like somebody that I talk to all the time on Twitter, and then they start commenting over here with like a different name, and I have no idea who it is because there's like no indicator. So, but yeah, let us know where you're from, my dude. And yes, to cap off that talk about Snow Leopard, he is awesome. And one of the I should mention him as one of the first people that I talked to as well. Definitely. I think I knew there was another one. And I think that's the one I was talking to. In Illinois, it's been a monsoon. Yeah, dude, it's kind of went from one side of the country to the other, and I think just hitting up some places worse than others. Oh, Animus Level says too that 3POA is sabotaging the podcast. Well, this is a fact that we 100% are up against literally the most popular toy podcast, I think. Or actually, maybe there's some of those guys that the circle of people that I watch and everything. That dude gets like 600-700 people watching at a time. That's a lot. We do not get that. And I can always tell when his show ends because that little number in the corner goes up by about 15 people, which I get. They have a great show. A lot of times Bobby Val is on there. He reveals all kinds of new shit, talks about cool stuff. It's amazing. Oh, coming down to say goodnight are my daughters. Hi. How are you girls? You ready for bed? Okay. Do you want to come give a huggy? Okay, here we go. Sorry to interrupt, fellas, but it's a new thing that we've been doing because I love you. Thank you so much. Did you have fun swimming today? You did? Good, because I did too. I jumped off the 12-foot board. Is it 12 feet high? Is that what the big one is? How deep the pool is. No, well, how high is the diving board? It's definitely more than 10, that's for sure. It's higher than a basketball thing. Oh, and one more huggy. Thank you, baby. I love you girls. But yeah, so the first time I went, I didn't time you jump, you wait till it goes down, and then you let it kind of throw you. The first time I kind of went like down, but then leaned off it before I got the kickback. Second time, I jumped up, I went all the way down, and the flinging sensation I was not quite ready for. So my body was like, and it's mostly kids doing this, so I look like a crazy person. All right, thank you for coming down, girls. I greatly appreciate it. I love you so much. Have a good night. So but it was fun. It was fun. You can see like this one kid was standing there and he was like, are you going on that big one? And I was like, yeah, you can go on the big one too. And he's like, I'm not going. And he was young. So I was like, oh, you don't have to.
Firing the youth.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Just, let them know that when you feel like you're ready, you can get anything that you want to do. So, but yeah. I just dropped just to kind of run through some community notes real quick. My latest article for Serpentor's Lair. I'm dropping articles over there Tuesday, Thursday, SerpentorsLair.com. I was thinking, I've always had this not weird, but a different like relationship with the snow serpent. Now I didn't wind up getting one until I was like almost out of collecting. Right. And then I wound up getting a few of them all like in a garage sale, which was fantastic. But those formative years where I was like really wicked obsessed and played with them 24/7 and 7 days a week, I always revered it as what I thought was like the coolest figure. Didn't matter that it was August and these guys were dressed for winter action. They were just amazing. All the stuff they came with and also the card art. So like when I was a kid and I looked at the little figure, I saw what was on the card art. You know what I mean? Like I was envisioning that. So I don't know, man, the Snow Serpent. So if you haven't read that, go check it out. It's a good one. And then I'm
also
also
a lot of Snow Joes and Cobras in general are some of the best.
Yes. Oh God. There's no question. Especially like even in classified, like that snow job, that classified snow job is, it's amazing. The accessories that all stow on his back and like everything. It's just fantastic. So I would have to agree. I definitely had the Snowcat and Frostbite Although I took Frostbite's weapon and immediately gave it to Low Light because Frostbite did not need that. Low Light needed that. And I don't remember what Frostbite got. He got something out of an accessory pack, but he was fantastic. Something that I thought about today, and I'm probably going to put it in a tweet because I forgot about it. There's not enough people talking about, we just saw the new classified Triple T coming. Not enough people talking about how that would be an amazing accessory vehicle to the upcoming Snowcat. It's all white, basically, except the tracks are black. You could go in and paint some of those real wells white, put an Arctic figure in there, and it just looks like a scout, little scout truck for like, if you've got, not that there's some people out there that are going to have a few, but if I had like 3 multiple Snowcats, you may want to park them and just send that little guy out first to see what's doing, weaving it through the woods or some shit like that. I don't know. I feel like that could sell some units based on exactly what that is there. Orskizio says, living in upstate New York, snow figures were a must. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I did 2 big outdoor shots this winter. They both revolved around the same thing, where I made a Cobra base, and then I had like snow job, and then I used the desert snake eyes, because he was, it was close enough to where when I stuck him in the snow, it was like, wasn't ridiculous. And so I was using those 2 to sneak up on this Cobra base, and that was so much fun. I had this big metal. It was part of an old HVAC unit. I painted it gray and stuck it into the snowbank so you could see this, what looked like a metal building, half under the snow, and a Sister Arsenal doors to like get in. And I had the Atlas was out there, and all of a sudden, it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. They were probably, it's easy to say those 2. And then I built 2 big dios down here. The first one I made was the Jungle, which that was long ago. I don't know if you saw that. I think it's pinned. It's probably pinned on Viper Den Studios and on Twitter. It's definitely, if you're on other socials, it's definitely pinned on there. But it was 8 feet long, 4 feet deep, and 5 feet deep and 4 feet high. And I used concrete to make a riverbed that runs through it. And I had a little pump, and there was water running. And basically that was, because it was for promotion for Moe's Mine. So I had like the outpost, and the big part of it was I was going to have the 60th anniversary divers showed up in this.
Oh yeah.
This is the shit right here. Now it comes in. Oh, it's all hung up. It comes in. Get it out of here. Night Landing blue as well.
So I believe my brother got one of those as well, and it is beautiful in the Night Landing blue.
For sure.
I know we had set to talk about later in terms of things that we want to see in classified and stuff like that. And the Night Landing to me it was probably my favorite Cobra vehicle from the original line, as crazy as that sounds, because it's so simple, but I think it's beautiful in its simplicity, and the card art is some of my favorite. That's definitely one that I would love to see for sure.
Right. Absolutely.
I love the Night Landing, and that custom is so sick.
It's kind of, to me, it's one of the iconic ones, like, just because the way, like, the card art on there was just, it's mind-blowingly awesome.
It might be my favorite card art ever. It's so cool.
Totally would have to, there's no argument for me, right? I'd have to sit down and really think about that. I talk about Shockwave, Alley Viper, the Snow Serpent a lot, about being some of my favorites. But man, I guess that's when I'm mostly thinking about figures. But if you're including that used to resonate so much as a kid, because it just looked so cool as fuck. I don't know how else to say it. Plus it had Firefly, who was like an iconic, it was really perfect. So I do put that right up with the snake armor, the trouble bubbles, the claws, like per the Sumbo cartoon, like they were constant. Everybody was in a trouble bubble, the ferret, I would have to say too, you see a lot of the ferret in there. I don't have one of those because the price is just outrageous. That's one of those things, like I would buy it. Like I would even consider buying just a ferret. The figure, it looks fine, but I don't know. It's not like other drivers they have, like well, the Claw Pilot is actually a ridiculously cool figure. I thought it was one of the better figures of 2025, and there was nothing but bangers, that came out then. So, yeah, I definitely would love to see the Night Landing come out too. I mean, in the meantime, go to the Moe's Mines Etsy. I will have to drop that in the chat in a hot minute here. But yeah, the Moe's Mines Etsy. Use Destro Designs to get 10% off, and you can get yourself that Night Landing. Now, Matt is in the chat. I don't know if he is Matt. Or do you have stickers for that yet? I know you want to leave it up to the customer to put it on there, but I'm wondering if you have stickers available for that yet, because I know he's definitely working on it. I will drop that. Hold on one second.
I feel like my brother just got one recently, and I want to say he had stickers put on it. So I'm not sure if he got it.
Oh, okay. Okay, maybe Matt did do it. So there it is. I just dropped it in the chat. That is Matt.
Too. It's gorgeous. It's so well made.
100%. It's very good, and thank you for the kind words. Everything that Matt does is pretty fucking awesome. Melted Copper says, when is the classified Cobra bug? I don't know, man. That sounds like a HasLab to me, and I mean, maybe. I feel like that's a little subline-ish. I think they would probably HasLabs. I feel like they would really try to go. That's why when people were like, "Oh, my brother Mark from Destro is my spirit animal," heard from somebody that they were maybe going to do a demon to go with the despoiler, and I was like, "Listen, as much as I would love that, I feel like that would be a very specific thing to get a lot of people to back, right? Because it came out a little later, et cetera, et cetera." But well, also I can hit two things. If you were, first of all, shout out to, I got my shirt on today, shout out to my brother Chris from the Full Force. He was talking about it earlier today about how, that focus group, we wound up with the Snowcap, but a lot of people really enjoyed the Havoc as well. And that's like, I mean, as much as I want a Moray, as much as I want a Warthog or a Whale, like I would want a Havoc just as much. That's similar though, right? You gotta have the people laying down the front, you gotta have the seat up top, and you gotta have something that, not just a drone in the back. You gotta give me something that a figure goes in, right? I don't care how big you have to make it. Chris, it's a HasLab. Just figure it out. With the one thing, I'm
blanking on the name of it. What was the name of that Cobra tank that was beige and red? I want to say it came out probably like maybe around 1990. Like
beige and red,
like a dark red. It was such a sick tank. Gosh, I'm kicking myself. I'm blanking on the name of it, but that was one of my favorite Cobra vehicles as well. And I would love to see that. It might be a HasLab undertaking as well, or I should say definitely, but not the.
Let me see. I used this one guide that's pretty good. So you think it might be from 90?
Yeah, 89, 90, something like that, I think.
Let's see. I'm drawing a blank. I feel like it's ringing a bell, but the bell is ringing so deep in my mind that I'm having a hard time. It was Cobra, you say?
Yes.
God, I'm surprised somebody in the chat doesn't have it. Oh, let's see. This must be it. The Rage?
Yes.
Yes. Dude, that's pretty dope. That is pretty dope.
Cobra Rage was sick. I would love to see that pop back up again.
Big Red had it. Cobra Rage. Yep. Very cool. I love it. It definitely, Snow Leopard says Hiss 2. Well, Hiss 2 was what was the one, the Hiss that was like blue? It was like a blue, and it had the 3 cannons on the top and the back opened. That was the Hiss 3, right? I think that's all right. I guess there's 2 versions of the Hiss 3. There is the blue one that came with the figure Rip It that looked exactly like the original, and then they came out with that whole new bit. But yeah, the Cobra Rage is pretty insane. Looks like that there's that thing that flies off the top. Looks like Rock Viper is sitting in it. What's also cool is they have a Night Creeper, the Range Viper, and the Saw Viper, all on there, which is pretty interesting. That same year we got the Mobile Battle Bunker, which I thought was cool, and Destro's Dominator, which I'll tell you, if I were to get that as a HasLab, I think would be unbelievable. That's the one that starts out as a tank and can turn into the helicopter. I'd also take a Mamba, but those seem like things that are so outrageous, like the same thing with a whale. It would be the size of an Ottoman, if they tried to do it and do it right and have it so you could drive a Ram out of the front, like that whole thing. But yeah, no, I mean, shit. I mean, look at how big the Atlas is. So if I put the tailgate of it down, there's an accessory that'll allow it to stay flat, so it doesn't have to fold all the way down. You can take the top, fold it, and then it sits like this. And if I do that, I can put 1, 2, 3 snake armors in it and actually transport it like that, which is insane. So, but yeah, those would all be amazing things. All right, let's see, so shout out to Chris, because he was earlier talking about the Havoc, but also while on the show, he was incredibly nice enough and thoughtful to he saw the video on Twitter, and so when he saw me in the comments, he was like, "Oh, hey, did you have a flood?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I gave him a brief rundown of what happened, and went back and forth on a few comments, and I just wanted to shout him out because I thought that was, the dude's trying to run a show. He stopped for a minute to inquire and send words of care and concern in the middle of a show. So I thought that was pretty thoughtful of him. Shout out to Chris. And I'm sure everybody here knows who I'm talking about and has already signed up and watching, but make sure that you are. Matt from Mosemine says Pixis Designs was working on a Rhino, but scrapped it due to the size. Yeah, man. I mean, you get to a certain point where you're like, I have to charge $500 for this. Like, it's just how many, pieces, I mean, maybe someday they come out with a printer that's big enough to do, these things so you don't have to put them in pieces, right? Maybe you can, the technology seems to be getting better all the time, but we'll see as that goes. Pop Cold says Ultimate HasLab G.I. Joe Classified Defiant Complex. Listen, even the general with all those parts and pieces would be cool. I would totally take a Defiant. I mean, I think we all know that the flag is just that one guy that made it. He made a fucking awesome one. It was 14 feet long. It went through his living room and was into his foyer. And somebody in the chat was like, yeah, he's like, yeah, but does that guy have a wife? And I'm like, yeah, that's why he has to sell it, because it's in his fucking taking up his living room. He's like, yeah, of course he does. He made the thing, and he had to have known it wasn't going to last. But also somebody else you would want to check out for things of this nature, Plastic Fantastic on Instagram. The A in plastic is a 4, and I actually know the guy. He grew up right across the river from me, fucking right there. We have mutual friends, et cetera, and that dude has printed, if I remember correctly, every single vehicle and playset from 82 to 1989, all of them. He has printed all of them, with the exception of the flag. I don't think he's done a flag, but he did a Terradrome that was, anybody that can make a Terradrome has obviously put the time in. But when you look at the amount of detail on all the parts and pieces, it doesn't make it look like a giant plastic toy. It makes it look like it's made out of like metal and shit. Like, it's crazy. It's the top opens properly. He's got the fire bat that comes out of it. Forget about it. It's one of the coolest 3D printing things I've ever seen. Plastic Fantastic. I could probably, hold on. I'll pull them up and I'll put the link in the chat. One sec. My phone has been working so slow today. Oh, darn. I do this all the time. This is like not great radio, but there it is. Yep. Let me grab the copy profile. There it is. And when you go right to there, right pinned is the whatchamacallit I'm talking about. There we go. Orskizio says the Terradrome is awesome. Yes, it is. Wow, it's easier to look at the chat on my phone than it is on here, because I don't know what it is. It's just way clearer. Well, very cool, very cool. Also, something you know what, we'll pop right into this real quick. So, our brother over at Serpentor's Lair has a friend of his that is doing a Kickstarter, and it looks like he's making some figures. So, here's the first thing I'm going to do is this. I am going to drop the gentleman's YouTube channel. Let me see here. So here in the chat is the new gentleman that is he's, oh God, forgot the name already. So these Action Media Toys. His name is Terry, and his project is called The Templars. Here is the YouTube channel, and then I will give you his Facebook, which looks like is that what's it looks like that is gonna copy. It looks like that's what's gonna bring you to. Nope, actually, hold on. Here's what I want. Here's the link for the Kickstarter. If I can copy it. No, it's not letting me copy that. Okay, so let me see. Now I know we had a problem where it wasn't letting us put PayPal or Cash App information on the thing. It's almost as if YouTube knows it, and they're like, nah, you ain't gonna solicit through us. You know, you can have them give us the money. But let's see here. What do we got? All right, so I'm gonna have to eliminate some of this because the part of the message is in there. Here's to back the project, and there we go. Oh, okay. Well, the problem is that it's too long for me to post on a comment. So I will have to put that out onto, I tell you what, Serpentor's Lair, if you want to put that out on your timeline, you can put the put a post out there. You can, you know, let them know that we're talking about it on the show right now. But the actual link for the whatchamacallit, for the fund or for the Kickstarter, the link itself is too long and for me to post. I think they only let you do like 100 or 40 characters. It's kind of like Twitter in that sense, right? I can't say for sure, but yeah, so I will do that, let everyone know. Yeah, definitely. And if you want, put the link to the show, tell them we're talking about it right now. So you know, I went and I looked at, they were talking, it looks like a cool as hell project. If it's something that's up your alley, I would definitely give it a look. You know, it sounds to me from when I was talking to Serpentor's Lair earlier, what it sounds like is the gentleman is, you know, really put quite literally like everything he has into the project, trying to get it made. And the figures look cool. I no longer do 3 3/4 stuff. You know, I have a very small collection. What I did is I decided, I was like, okay, I want to buy like the 15 or 20 that I had when I was a kid and that I was super duper obsessed with. And so I think I've got like a dozen, 13, 14, something like that, right? And it's all very, very good. I love having them. What's that?
Who were they? Which were like your guys?
Oh, hold on. I'll tell you. This is so our brother Riptide O'Leary, he just recently scored at a show. He has Beachhead and Hit and Run, which were two of my tops. Love so them. Beachhead and Hit and Run. Here we got. Hold on. I gotta take this out anyway because I want to put his gun on a one of those card back things. But of course, one of my favorites we have, which is
Love Low Light.
Straight up 3 3/4 royalty. That is Low Light. So let's see. I'll put him right here. Salvo. Absolutely love Salvo. Really, really. There a lot of these guys came out late. Truly one of my favorites, the Alley Viper. Here we have, again, this is, so Salvo is one of my top most wanted for classified. Here we got Blizzard.
That is my number one that I want.
Bro, it's such an amazing pick. He is fantastic. The often ragged on Lightfoot. Now, I love this guy. What he comes with is ridiculous, but how crazy cool of a figure is that?
I loved Lightfoot growing up, and it is funny to me to see some of the ones that get sort of bagged on online. Or I think I read that they had such an excess of Lightfoot that he started being like a giveaway at Chuck E. Cheese or something like that.
That's
but,
crazy.
And maybe that explains why I think we had like 3 or 4 Lightfoot in our house growing up. But
nice.
He was a hero in this house. We liked Lightfoot, but Blizzard to me. And I put this out there because Serpentor's Lair had one of their polls, which was Snow Serpent versus Blizzard, and I understand like the sort of the venerable Snow Serpent and like how revered it is in GI Joe lore as far as the figures go. But for me, I think my all-time favorite Snow Joe or Snow Cobra is Blizzard. I think he's such a cool looking figure. I love the head sculpt. I know the helmet was a little bit maybe wonky or whatever, but
made it cool too.
Yes, and for the time that we were in, it was great. And I loved him in the video game. And Blizzard is definitely one. Like if you told me that Energon Universe was going to do like a 5-part Blizzard miniseries, I'm there. Like I just think he's so cool.
Awesome. Arguably, again, I hope it's like Beachhead is so Destro and Snake Eyes are above all lists, right? I think they're so good, and Firefly too, to be honest with you. So like I like Beachhead, and then tied for second was Alley Viper and this guy. Dude, I was truly obsessed with this dude, like 100%. His card art, I think, could be my favorite. I have to really like think about it. Here's a dude that a lot of people, dude, I don't know what it was, but some of it had to do with the card art because it was amazing, but I absolutely love this guy.
Oh yeah, mainframe.
Yep. It just because like the way I keep coming up with it is like back in the 80s, computers were like magic still. They were not like commonplace or anything. So that guy was like truly a wizard, that like, if without him, there's no communication on the battlefield, there's no winning, if he's not, monitoring what Cobra's doing, like all of that. So I loved me some mainframe. This dude's backpack broke immediately after I got it. He doesn't have those canisters, but this helmet and how it looked afterwards, dude, this figure is a crazy. Now I thought I had his hose. Maybe I do not. I've been trying to get these complete. I was pretty sure that the hose came with that. Another one of my faves. It's actually fitting that I pulled him out right after the Toxo Viper, but yep.
Yeah, great figure in the original line, and I think one of the best from Classified too.
Absolutely. Oh, this dude was a game changer. I don't want to take his missile system out, but Scrap Iron.
Yeah,
he was like, I feel like for a time he was like the centerpiece of the Cobra attack. Like we'd have the surveillance port, and then the night landing with Firefly, and then the bunker over here. But in the middle was this guy, and then I had that accessory pack that came with the red missile launcher. So like I had both of them there with him. I know I got one more. Oh well, there is again above all this. There's my Firefly.
In my opinion, number one.
You get no argument from me. And I got to be honest. So as much as I enjoyed getting all of these, especially Shockwave and the Alley Viper, Hit and Run and Beachhead are going to hit like a ton of bricks. But dude, this guy right here kept me into the Joes almost single-handedly. And when I got him, I instantly realized like why I was so obsessed with them as a kid. But hold on, let me see if I can get them in here. Well, it's going to be a pain in the ass to put it all back together because I took it off. But let's see. Let me put his thing on.
Oh,
Ambush.
So underrated, incredibly underrated figure.
Incredibly underrated. An amazing primary, a cool helmet that comes off and still looks good. It came with 2 pieces of soft goods. One stayed over him as he moved, the other tucked into, I think, if I remember correctly. So here's his tent poles. I think the tent poles went like on the bottom. No, the tent poles went on the top, I think. And then somehow, these like sat up the top. And then this guy rolled up into the back here. But for those who maybe don't know, so this thing comes out and he had what was in essence, hold on, am I doing it wrong? Nope, there it goes. He had look at, it was like a tent. So that would sit, hold on, let me reel this out, and it would conceal him. So the back part only had to cover the back legs. So when he was laying down like this, that front part with his head sticking out went over it like that. So I loved making forts and hiding and playing shit like that. So this dude was just like a grown-up me. You know, as much as I loved and wanted to be Shockwave because I was like, he was a cop. I was like, oh, I can do that. I can eventually be a cop and then become Shockwave, sure. But this guy seemed also, I was like, oh, no, this is also me, because he does have the other, I think he had another weapon, right?
Like G.I. Joe's big game hunter, you know, and
yes,
I always thought he paired very well with Recondo, you know, just in terms 100%. Of aesthetic and everything like that. And yeah, I love that figure. I think he's so criminally underrated. Yeah, it's the facial hair, insane, off the page.
It's 10 out of 10. Honestly, the Snow Serpent, Alley Viper, and Ambush all have probably the best accessories, right? I'm sure we could, you know, Firefly's weapon and backpack are iconic, but it's not all this.
Loadout, yeah.
Right. And Alley Viper with the shield, that crazy cool backpack, but then also, you know, like one of the most unique weapons in the whole line. It was like a lot. So, but yeah, man, when I pulled this out of the package, again, I Googled and gagaed over all of them. But when I took this out and I started setting up that little tent, I could feel the chemical running in the back of my neck. I was like, oh, this is like legit, unbelievably awesome. So now I also have, here is a bag of stuff that I've been, on the bottom, I have 5 of my OGs left. I got Psych Out, Toxo Viper, Big Boa, Thrasher, and Torch. That is literally, those 5 were in like this plastic case. I had 2 boxes full of stuff that I lost in a move in 2007. I had everything. I had like 50 complete figures. I had the Havoc, the Terradrome, the Surveillance Port, the Bunker, like all those play sets. I still had my ACP was in one piece. What I had and wasn't in one piece was my Tomahawk. I got a Tomahawk for my birthday or Christmas. I can't remember which one, but I got it and subsequently was flying it, and I tripped and it went forward and hit the very corner of a 1980s coffee table. So you know that thing was basically like a chunk of mahogany whittled, you know, down to have legs on it. And it hit right in the middle. It split the main body part in half, and it like the whole front part was like folded in a little, like the sides of the windshield popped in, and then one of the propellers broke off, and it was dude, and you know those things were no joke. That APC, you could like throw that thing across the room and nothing would happen to it. And I think the Tomahawk was built in the same way. I a lot of downward force, and I hit it the right spot with the right spot of the helicopter on the right spot of the table, and that was that. But just real quick,
was my favorite G.I. Joe vehicle growing up. I thought it was so cool. To this day, I still, you know, it's right up there. The Rattler's awesome. The Trouble Bubble's iconic. The Tomahawk for me, I think I had the most fun playing with. And my brother actually this past Christmas, he surprised me. He got a restored OG Tomahawk for me, and we can't see it on video. It's actually on top of all these shelves here, safely perched. Okay. Right. But it's I just love looking at it. It is still my favorite to this day.
That's awesome. So most of the figures that I just showed you are mint. The scrap iron and the main frame are a little dusty, but the rest of them, bro, I've gotten incredibly lucky for like under $30, like complete and perfect. This one right here is gorgeous, shining bright. Woo. It is in such amazing condition. Now, this one, I remember when it came out, him and Shockwave really took over. It was, as much as I loved the whole setups, it was about those two going at it. I mean, look at how the primary sits on that shield. He's got the thing that comes up. Look at that freaking backpack. I don't know, man. I feel like I should hear him talked about as some of people's all-time favorites, much more than I do. You know, this guy is also pretty mint. He has like a small percentage of the luster loss that the alley viper does, but he was complete or is complete, and his oh, there it is, and his actual primary, because I mean, never mind the fact that his secondary is better than most people's primary, but he came with this, with the swing and bipod and that giant scope. Just forget it. The only thing that, if this attached to the backpack, it would probably move up to tie with Alley Viper and Shockwave. It's just that, you know, he doesn't, or this one. If this one went, even if this one slid into the backpack, I would be like this, so he could, like, you know, you could make it look like he was doing one or the other. But I'm super blessed. I know Just Another Jerk. I know Jeremy Kimberlin sent me a handful of different 3 3/4 figures, and they're just not ones that I necessarily had. So I don't put them in that same like little category or whatever. Actually, Just Another Jerk sent me a Snake Eyes Scarlet 2-pack. That's like older, and they're both in great condition. It's the version 1.5 of Snake Eyes, but has a few small brown bits on, like, the whatever he's got here. They're like a little brown. It's an amazing set. I'm going to keep that in the box up there. I'm not even going to open it. It was open, but it's complete and it looks amazing. So again, if you add hit and run and beachhead to that, I'm pretty sure that I just wrote my whole complete top 10 down. I know what I don't have: Rock and Roll version 2, repeater, recoil. Man, I wish I had wrote those. You know what? I should have those on hand for when guests were talking about it. But in my top 10, bro, is literally 24 figures. So I have tied for, you know, and what it comes down to is, like, it's the ones I had. Now, so that's how we got on this, was the Snow Serpent I didn't have to wait later. So when I talk about this, it's no, he's not on my list because I didn't have him, right? But if we talk about I almost have 3 lists: figures I had, figures I didn't have, and then put them both together, right? Now, I will say, if anybody said to me the Snow Serpent is not only the best G.I. Joe figure, it's the best 3 3/4 figure of anything of all time, I would say I don't disagree with you. I believe that the amount of stuff it came with, the sculpt, it almost, like, what it represented was the possibility of what every G.I. Joe figure could look like. When you give it all those extra, for the sculpt, the face, the neck, the backpack, all of it, bro. There's not a bad part about it. And so it's funny, is in that article, I kind of go to the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm like, so what makes that great is all that they fumbled with the classified. Now, the classified deluxe that comes with the wolf pelt and all the other stuff, that's a great, cool set. But the retro Snow Serpent, it's bad enough that they didn't put all of the actual accessories in there. They then changed the card art to where that FAMAS is, and it's dude, I'm irate over it. I think the biggest part of the article I wrote was how much it drives me crazy that that's what the retro is. I'm trying to remember. It was they changed the card art. The only thing that reminds me of something this egregious were those 2 dipshits that tried to restore Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece of The Last Supper, and they just fucking butchered it. Like, that's the only thing I can think of that reminds me of that. It's just, like, absolutely insane. So, but yeah, it is and that is also a universally accepted kind of thing. Most people are, like, when I say that to people, everybody goes, yeah, that's about right. Like, I wouldn't say that that's not true. Also, so now, fun fact, and I'll let everybody in on this real quick. When I was originally writing that article, because again, it revolved around a figure I didn't have, which is why I don't include it in the thing. Part of that, and almost equally in the same vein, is the eel. So when I was a kid, I didn't have an eel until way later. But man, looking at it on the back of the card art, I'd be like, that looks so fucking awesome. And then I think I had a friend. It was like a friend's cousin or some shit that I saw all the time. He had 2 of them, and I tried to trade him the farm, and he was like, not a chance. Like, I think at one point I even offered him it was a full play set, like, you know, the one that came with the brick wall and had the hole in the brick wall. It was the mortar defense or the machine gun. It was one of those, it's the one that had the corner, it was the brick wall, and on one of the sides there was like a hole that you could shoot through or something like that. I tried to trade him like that whole set for the figure, and he was like, nothing. And I was like, tell me what it is that you would take. What I may fulfill your Godfather request. Tell me what it is. And he was like, honestly, I don't even think I'd trade one for your whole collection. And I was like, and that even as a kid, you're like, oh, all right, so there's just something wrong with you then. I can't reason with anything like that. But no, it was really, really like absolutely insane. Just checking in with the chat real quick. Oh yeah, so that article was originally going to be the same exact idea, but it was going to say the snow serpent and the eel, and then I was like, the snow serpent, they're in the same vein, but I do like the snow serpent a lot better. It should just get its own article, and I can talk about it on the show, because the eel is fucking like, so
best.
What I think I like about both of them is that they don't look anything like any other Cobra figures. Neither one of them have that, like, okay, the snow serpent has blue, but it's not that deep navy color that, like, it's not Cobra blue. It's just a blue, right? If that makes any sense. And so for, obviously he was a snow trooper, and, you know, the eel was a water guy, which makes him a little different. But at the same time, I was like, you know, they just look they look specialized. They look like they were elite, you know, like like I always thought, like, so the trooper, the look of the trooper is super iconic to me. Like the face mask and how that looks to me, that is like a real representation of Cobra, is that look, right? And I always looked at it. So then when they came out with the Viper was so damn good that you went, okay, the Viper's not replacing the trooper. The trooper are just now frontline guys. And if you can handle a few tours as a trooper, you get the helmet and you get the arm guards, and you're upgraded to a Viper, right? Like made in their God's image. They have the Cobra Commander battle mask, you know, sort of deal, and shit like that. So yeah, that's how I felt about but the eel and the snow serpent kind of got a very similar thing where, like, yeah, you maybe start out as a trooper, but then if you pass the Arctic test, you can be a snow serpent. Funny quick little note. I wish I could remember what episode it is of the Sumbo cartoon. They're fighting a battle in New York City. They're fighting in the Statue of Liberty. And inexplicably out of nowhere, I think it's Lady J up top, looks over, and there's a snow serpent on the crown of the shoulder or something. It's a snow serpent with skis on. It's not even like, it's fucking mind blowing. And it's like, it's one of those things that, like, they just were like, oh, we need the figures coming out. We gotta put it in. And so they shoehorn the shit out of it. Just
put them in there.
Just to get it in there. So I thought I'd throw that in real quick, because they make a few appearances here and there in the Sumbo, and every once in a while there was one where one of them talks, and it just sounds like a rough, tough kind of guy.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going through the Pyramid of Darkness right now, and so awesome. They were flanking Storm Shadow as they were trying to sort of deal with Alpine and Bazooka and stuff like that. And I think that the one talking was in 3 Keys to Darkness, which that episode just came out. I just reviewed that one last week, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Sometimes the events of each particular episode of the miniseries can sort of what happened when and stuff like that. But yeah, so they're in there though. I think they're in 3 Cubes to Darkness and part. No, I think they get replaced by Crimson Guards actually in the next episode, which is interesting because they were right there.
Nice. Funny thing I wanted to mention. I always had a love-hate relationship with the Crimson Guard, because as awesome a figure it was, it really bothered me that Cobra's elite trooper, like elite boots on the ground, maybe even flanking Cobra Commander while like being his guards, deviated from that royal blue.
From the
So
aesthetic.
like, yes. So like, you know how that 2-pack that's coming out, excuse me, with my head sculpt on Shipwreck and the Cadet Deming thing there.
Yes.
That Cadet Deming uniform is what I wanted. That's what I wanted the Crimson Guard to look like. I was like, if they're going to be the elite, I think, like, obviously, I know it's called the Crimson Guard, but you could have called it anything, right? And maybe if they made the Crimson Guard specifically as the Extensive Enterprises guys, or like, oh, here's the Twins elite group, I would get behind that. I would be like, oh yeah, the Crimson Twins, they have the Crimson Guard, they're there to guard the Crimson Twins, all makes sense. I would totally be beyond that. But it was something about it as a kid that I can remember like playing toys and my uncle being there and like asking me about them, and like I hit him with that whole speech, and I just remember him being like, you really just like that red, huh? Like, I was like, yeah, man, I fucking did. This is bullshit. So I
have nothing to base this off of other than, I think there was a lot of imitation is the sincerest form of flattery going on. Is that decision maybe in some part, and I'd have to look at the timeline for when each of them came out. But the Emperor's Imperial Guard were
okay.
those red guys as well, and they actually had some goods red.
Yes.
And so they, to me as a kid, it always felt like they sort of mirrored one another, and that sort of a sort of inspiration there. And they both, even the Crimson Guard, they look like they're not exactly in Gung Ho's dress blues, but they're dressed a little fancier.
It's much closer to Gung Ho's dress blues than it is a trooper uniform. That's for sure. No question.
And so like it's similarly to, like the Emperor's Royal Guard, that they're sort of, dressed to the nines a little bit. That's, again, I have nothing to base this off of other than I collected both toy lines and was a big fan of both properties. Is that it's like, oh yeah, it seems kind of, this is like G.I. Joe Cobra's version of the Emperor's Royal Guard, but that's just me.
So it's very interesting because as you're saying that, I'm thinking of a few other similarities. Their helmets aren't super different in a sense that the Star Wars guys have like their visor is a thin thing, and so is the Crimson thing. The difference is they have some form of a mask, and their helmet largely is just a big round sphere, right? It's like Lord Helmet's just thing, but of actual proportion. And that kind of reminds me, that's a very interesting point, brother. And I don't think I have ever, because you know what, God, that might be ringing a bell somewhere deep down in my mind, because my cousin had all the Star Wars, bro. Like he had, the Millennium Falcon was dope. Those planes were amazing, or like the X Fighter, the TIE Fighter, like all that shit. Those were awesome, and I remember that for sure. Showing up is G.I. Dave in the house. What is up, my brother? Thank you for making it. I greatly appreciate it. I hope your week is going. Actually, we talked. You know what, dude? I just saw your message before I hopped on. I will get back to you tomorrow in the AM, but you're very welcome. 100%, anytime. Try to catch up real quick here. The episode is money to burn. I think that's what he just said. You know what? It's actually easier for me to read these comments on my phone than it is, because the scrolling right now is just like not working good. Empire was 81, correct? I believe so. Stu for Lunch says, wishing you all a great night and may your today be full of joy. Thank you, Stu. Now thank you for coming through, brother. I greatly appreciate you. You can catch Stu and the rest of the Figure Fight Club boys over tonight on the show Men on Film. Pops off at 10:15. It's Men on Film. It's named after Blaine and Anton from A Living Color. It's a great show. They kind of have a topic where they pick like a type of movie, and the comments vote. The guys on the show vote. They just kind of go back and forth. I did it, and it was awesome. I had to drag my ass through it because I did 3 podcasts that day. I did one early in the day, then I did my own, and then I did theirs at 10 o'clock. And I was like wiped, totally wiped. Yeah, even me, the talking machine, I was like, dude, what the hell?
Hit me with the name one more time.
Oh, Men on Film is the name of it. Nice. Oh, okay. So we have here in the chat at Action Media Toys. I'd love to be a guest on any show to answer questions about Templars and hopefully get some backers to join the crusade. So that is Terry, who, when we were talking about it before, he's got the Kickstarter going for his line of toys, the Templars. Terry, I will be reaching out to you. We're going to see what we can do about getting you on the show. So stay tuned. I think I was given a Facebook link to get to you. So watch for a message. It'll come from my my Destro Designs account, and we will see what we can do, brother. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, definitely would love to have you on. Get you talking about those toys and see if we can get anybody to get signed up. But you don't have to wait for Terry to come on the show. You can go over now. It sounds like Serpentor's Lair has put the link on Twitter. Did you pin that post, brother? Because there's a lot of stuff on there. Hopefully, my boy, Just Another Jerk, is in here. What is up, my dude? Thank you for coming. Greatly appreciate it. The Pose Master General is what I've been calling him. Stu for Lunch says Talib 1980 _ collects is the channel tonight. So Talib does a bunch of shit. If you like Transformers as well, Talib is your guy. He's fucking excellent. But make sure you're following Stu for Lunch. Make sure you go over, subscribe to Talib's channel. Over on Instagram, you can find the Figure Fight Club account. Also, Lucida Base, Abi is the Figure Fight Club, but he has his own at as well, which is all escaping me, and Talib. They make up the general show. I know they have our boy Lucy Goosey is over there on some of the shows too. He's got some kind of a block Dio thing going, which I'm sorry, I'm like butchering all of this, but you can head over to Instagram and find any of those guys. Just go right to my friends. I'm on there for sure. So good. Excellent. Glad to have you, Terry. And like I said, I will reach out, brother. We'll make something happen. Ooh, let me get back to that there. Very good. Yes. So real quick, I know I touched on this before. The raffle for Animus, I'm going to try to wrap that up tomorrow. We are going to have another raffle afterwards. So, we'll worry about that. I've had G.I. Davis send some stuff. CG Horror, Call Sign Smash. So I have another one on tap. But what we're dealing with right now is there is 5 prizes altogether. The 5th one I will draw. It's not the first prize, but I'll draw it after I draw the other 4. So in the fourth prize is our brother Country Gentleman has donated his HasLab Cobra Commander that comes with the Hiss tank. You either got it from there or you bought it off of eBay. I think that sounds like $50 or $60. So it's a very generous donation. That is going to be 4th place. Coming in 3rd place from Just Another Jerk, we have Night Force Big Ben. This is a super underrated figure. I think at one point Conrad Hauser said it might be his favorite classified. That's how awesome it is. And it is. When you see that picture, it doesn't do it justice. When you take it out of the box, plus he comes with 3 elite weapons. Look at those fuckers. They're all some of the best they have. The gas mask, so you could even troop build with them if you wanted to. That's coming in at number 4. Nope. This is coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, provided by Riptide O'Leary. It's Mutt and Junkyard. A crazy killer set. This guy, Tripwire, and a few of those other original ones that were all good. This is just absolutely fantastic. So for sure, totally great. Now, also, coming in at 1st place, also donated by our brother Riptide O'Leary, is this bad boy. Just an unbelievable, selling for $280 right now on eBay. We had our brother Big Red came in today and made a very, very generous donation. And what he said to me was, he goes, you know what? If I win that Serpentor, just sell it and give the money to Animus. Now that's incredibly thoughtful. And listen, no shame. If anybody wins the Serpentor, it's yours. Please don't feel obligated. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I just wanted to give Big Red his props for, just like immediately like, oh, that's the Pentor is what? Oh, just, I don't need that. Please send it. I've gotten to know Big Red pretty well over the last year and a half or so, and he is an incredibly solid motherfucker. I very much enjoy talking to him. There's a lot of dudes that I talk to offline too, but Big Red is the shit. Thank you again for that donation, brother. Good. G.I. Davis says Big Red is a good person. Yes, he is. Maybe we can get Mike to go a full 4 hours tonight. Well, listen, it's going to be, we'll see. I've already talked to it with our friend here, and he's got, he's going to probably tap out at about 2 hours, which I still say is a lot to ask from a guest. 2 hours is a long time. Now we are at about an hour and a half, so I'm going to switch up this. So okay, my pinned tweet on Twitter right now is all the information if you want to donate. If you don't have Twitter, please put it in the comments here, or you can find me on Instagram, DM me. I will get you away. You know what I can do? Actually, hold on real quick, because I do want to get to your stuff, brother. I'm sorry. I feel like I can't believe it's freaking.
No, this is great. Yeah, this has been fun. So
good. Excellent. It's the biggest compliment that I get is when like when I was talking with Photo Dave last week, he was like, Jesus. He's like, how long have we been on for? And I was like, I know. It's crazy when that happens. The first couple shows I did, like the adrenaline of it was, dude, I was just like ripping. I was getting off and was like, I couldn't fall asleep and shit. I did a couple 5-hour shows, and I'll tell you what, while fun, also exhausting in a way that like every time I've done those shows, I wake up hungover without having had a drop of alcohol. I'm just wiped completely. So the link that I just threw up in the chat, that will take you to the tweet. There's a video if you'd like to watch it, which describes the details of why we're doing this for our brother Animus. Terribly tragic situation that he is bringing the light to it for these 6 young kids that he has adopted after having gone through the tragedy of losing 2 of his own kids. I was immediately like, we got to do something for this guy. Like, holy shit. All of that, one or the other, all of a sudden having 6 more mouths to feed or losing 2 of your own children is like, either one of those is the end of the fucking world. So anything that we can do to help our brother is great. Just so everybody knows, I do plan on swinging back for another raffle with him around Christmas because, good Lord, Santa is expensive. So just so everybody knows, but that's that. So there is the link. Call sign Smash is here. What is up, my brother? Thank you for joining us. He said, absolutely love those 5-hour shows. Great way to spend a Saturday night. Well, thank you. Well, that is the thing. We're not all going out to bars and shit like that no more. This is our hangout. So that's also another great compliment. I greatly appreciate it. So now we are going to get to you, my brother, after all of this here. So I like to talk about what is the GI journey. And in order to do that, we usually go all the way back to the beginning to talk about, bro, I got a ton of coffee right here. It's a whole thing. I have like an energy drink to begin with, and then I switch over to coffee. So now I can go ahead and guess that G.I. Joe was most likely your favorite toy as a kid, but were you into anything else?
Yes, I was. G.I. Joe definitely was my favorite. Was me and my brother, both of our favorites. So we had a lot of G.I. Joes in the house for sure. But in terms of other toy lines, I mean, I really liked also the Hasbro WWF figures, like the smaller ones, not that big LJN.
Okay. The little ones were cool too, though. Yeah. Little ones were cool. The thumb, was it the thumb?
Yeah, you could have them do different things, like they had different actions or whatever. So I really liked those. I believe it was Toy Biz, their superhero line, got really into some of those action figures as well. And I mean, Kenner Star Wars was huge in our house also. Like those, I would say G.I. Joe and Star Wars were the 2 biggest sort of toy lines that we collected. And then we also loved, Thundercats, and then a little later on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that stuff as well.
Nice. Oh, Turtles hit hard, man. Those movies were amazing. And I definitely remember buying all 4 Turtles. I loved them, but like I didn't have anything else. It did fit with the Joes. And then eventually I wound up trading them for Cops. I got Bulletproof, the dude that came with the dog, and one of the bad guys. I can't remember which one it was though. Our Carter King is in the house. Cal 327. Thank you. Buddy. What's
Definitely
that?
Silverhawks and some He-Man as well were in there also. So yeah.
There was definitely some stuff that had my attention, but like it was most of the time I just always chose to have choose the Joes. Like what was some of the other Silverhawks? I did get Captain Power. You remember that
Captain Power was sick. Yes. And he was the right size. So yeah.
Yes. Captain Power was awesome. That figure was crazy. I can't remember really liking any of the other ones that like whatever. I don't even know what other figures there were in that set, but man,
guy is the one I vividly remember. But yeah, it was mainly Captain Power. He had the coolest deal going for sure.
Definitely. You could like put a light to his back, his chest thing lit up and shit. Because I think he came with a stand. And you would put him against
whatever, like, it was like a power cell almost kind of deal with his logo, and it would shine out, I feel like, and project onto the wall or something like that.
Yes, I think that's it. Yeah, that is awesome. Melted Copper says Dino Riders, the Valorans were chased through time by the. Oh God, I hate it when it does that to me. It moves the stupid thing. Let's see, Dino Riders, the Valorons were chased through time by the Rulons, and they are now Dino Riders. No shit, that is pretty cool. I listen. I thought Dino Riders were dope. I didn't have any of them, but I remember looking at them and like the gadgetry of the stuff that was on those. Like that one that was big, wasn't it like a command center? The one big Dino had like something.
I never really got super into the Dino Riders. But I always thought they looked cool. It just wasn't a thing.
Right. Wow. No shock to anyone. Cal says he says Captain Power is awesome. I have a handful of them on card still. Brother, I don't know if you got them in storage or something, but I would fucking love to see pictures of that. Spentor's Lair says Sectors is coming back. Listen, I had the B and something else, and I loved it. So I do remember I had the B, something else, and then I had that He-Man ooze tower, right? Remember the skull with the ooze? That ooze would come out and it would go all over and mutate. Yeah. I remember that was all like Dr. Mindbender's crazy cousin. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they literally lived way far away. You know, it was Dr. Mindbender and be like, oh yeah, we could talk to my crazy cousin who mutated a bee with this ooze and some other shit like that. He-Man was actually what held my attention until I saw Destro and Snake Eyes version 1.5. Literally, I went home, took them out. I remember putting them down and just like reaching behind them and taking all the He-Man and being like, I'll just move these right the fuck out of the way. And that was like the metaphor for everything that happened. Like I can remember campaigning with family. Like anytime we'd have a family barbecue, I would run up to everybody and be like, listen, not to be assumptuous, right? But if you were nice enough to get me a gift, I would really love it if you got me literally anything G.I. Joe. Yeah. I think I got my first troop builder situation was the Iron Grenadier. I wound up, I had one and then got a separate one for like my birthday or something. And my mom was like, oh, you already have that one. I'll have Aunt Lynn bring it back. And I was like, no, you will not. Because I was able to recreate so awesome. I was able to recreate the comic book cover of the two Iron Grenadiers with the gold-headed Destro in the middle. And I would set them up and just like stare at it. The thing about action figures, and I said this in one of my articles that I wrote for Spentor's Lair, was that I feel like it opened a part of my mind that I don't know I would have developed if it wasn't for those figures. And what I mean by that is, when I look back, I spent an inordinate amount of time staring at this shit. Like card art, I could just stare at card art and use my imagination. I would think of so many things. Like Shockwave I would just look at Shockwave's card art and he would be kicking doors and like everybody get on the ground. Like I would have these whole scenes played out in my head. And I always felt like as I got older, in my teens and late 20s, I took a ton of hallucinogenics, and that really opened my mind. But when I look at like that and all these other things, not opened it, I should say, allowed me to see things from a different perspective. And when I look back at all that, I feel like it definitely gave me some kind of a way to envision things, and maybe it was in there before and it just opened the door. I don't know, but like, so as a contractor, I can walk into a room and somebody will say, this is what I want, or be like, I want to do something, but I don't know what. I can immediately be like, okay, you want to move that closet over here, we'll move the plumbing, we'll open this up, we could take that wall down. Like, I just instantly see it. And that's a large part of selling the project is convincing them that how they want it to look. So
it's funny being at Joe Fest this year is my first time going out there and seeing all of the Joes. There'd be booths where just had them like wall to wall, and it really did take me back to, it's like, gosh, there's no end to the possibilities of the scenarios that we used to come up with, like, and using that playtime to really expand your imagination and how you think about the world, and coming up with, again, like so many different scenarios and everything like that. It was a great way to play. It was educational in its own way. I stand by that, and it really does stick with me today.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was like I was saying earlier, like, as soon as I saw as soon as I got that Alley Viper and was taking it out of the package, I knew it. It was almost like everything that I hadn't felt since I stopped collecting. Because now, literally, at like 12 years old, there was a hard line there where I still had them and I still liked having them, but my interest was girls. We were in everything, and so all that time went by, and I always would name, like, on Xbox, my name was Destro, and I always talked about GI Joe. I always viewed anything interesting through the eyes of a guy that loved GI. I was obsessed with GI Joe. And then in 2008, I did get some of the 25th anniversary stuff. I saw it at Walmart. They had I got it over there in the box still, the Fang, the Hiss 1, the Hiss 3, the Awe Striker. And I bought those and a couple figures that I still have on card. But I bought them, they went right in the closet. I didn't do anything with them. I was just like, oh, I'm glad I have these, but it is what it is. My mom bought me the Mass Device set. I think there was 3 or 4 of them. So it came with a DVD that had one of the episodes on it, or maybe it was, I think every DVD might have had all the episodes. But anyways, it came with 3 figures, and one is Lady J, one is Destro, and one is Roadblock in the Vines. And it's just a set. I think my mom got it for me because she saw Destro.
Now,
is it really?
I think so. But
okay,
that'd be cool.
I haven't looked it up. I'll have to take a look. I feel like somebody else said that now that you're saying that, but it was, yeah, man. I always thought it was cool. I did open it. I did take the figures out. I did take the Destro out, and I did watch the DVD.
Hold on.
There you go. Nice. All right. Every once in a while, I drag my hand over the wrong button and it drops me out. Cal327 says Muscle Men. Yo, they were crazy little things, dude. Remember those? Those are little pink guys, right? I remember enjoying them. I definitely remember enjoying them. They were amazing.
I'm remiss for not mentioning the Transformers as well. I would say I was more into the show than, I loved Optimus Prime, so we definitely had an Optimus Prime in the house, but they were, definitely. I actually liked, there was a line of Transformers. They didn't actually transform at all, so it was kind of a betrayal of the core concept, but they were G.I. Joe sized. And
okay.
That I liked those even more because they could integrate in with the Joes that I had and stuff like that.
That's what's up. All right. So, good, you've got the same basic interest as everybody else. Now, I thought Transformers were awesome, but we couldn't afford them. It was, I could get one Transformer or 5 G.I. Joes in a play set. Yeah. I mean,
yes.
Right. Yeah, it's just how do you make those choices? So when you look back at the Joes, how did you consume? Did you do comics? Obviously, you're well into the Sunbow, but what and figures. But what about the comics? You ever fuck with those?
So I didn't come into the comics until much later on, my primary exposure was the 3 3/4 inch figures, the Sunbow cartoon. That was primarily how I was getting my GI Joe. But the comic stuff, actually, I first started getting exposed to through the cards. I don't know the exact year or whenever they started coming out, but just like with comic books themselves, I would learn a lot from collecting Marvel masterpieces and reading the backs of these cards. So I started to become aware of the storylines that was going on in the GI Joe comics or other things from these cards I was collecting. I think I had the whole set. So I was learning about, the lore between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes that we'd never see in the cartoon, but because of these cards I was collecting is kind of how I was sort of getting that knowledge. I didn't really start reading any of the comics until a little bit later on, and they are phenomenal.
Yes, yeah. Well, and sort of same. So like I had this one comic book store that was in my town, and I lived in a decent sized town too. It was just this was like the only one. We didn't travel a lot, and from what I remember, the dude didn't get GI Joe comic books because it was war and it was real war. Like it wasn't like obviously Spider-Man's not real, Wolverine's not real, Punisher's not real, even though I was like, sure, he doesn't have any powers. He's got a lot of bullets. That's just as bad, except he's killing people. GI Joe doesn't even. Anyway, I digress. He didn't have GI Joe. So like a lot of the GI Joe comics that I had came from every year I would take a trip with my grandfather down to Pennsylvania Dutch country in Allentown. And he had a bunch of family down there. His brother, my Aunt Dee Dee, my Uncle Ducky, they were awesome people. And they had this crazy cool house. And every year we'd go down. I was the oldest grandchild on that side of the family. I was very close to my grandfather. He passed away when I was young. It sucked. And my grandmother filed a couple years later. Like I lived with them for a few years and shit. He was great. So we would go down, and I would only be able to bring a small amount of Joes because he was going to buy me a bunch. So there was this like collecting store that was there. Like we found it the first year we went. The dude had a ton of comics. He had all kinds of Joe toys, on pegs and in boxes, like the whole thing. Absolutely fantastic. And so I would go down, he would buy me figures, he would buy me like a play set and like a vehicle. And then when he had the comics, I would look through, and I remember I pulled out a bunch of GI Joes, and the guy behind the counter was like, "Oh, do you like GI Joe?" And I was telling him, I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm from up north. I won't be back until next year." I was like, "Grandpa, are we coming back next year?" And he's like, "Absolutely." And so the guy was like, "I'll have some for you." And at the time, I was young. I didn't think much of it. Sure as shit. When I went back the next year, dude was like, "Oh, here you go." And he had a stack of them. Charged my grandfather like nothing. Was just like, "Here, just take the fucking things." And, my grandfather loved him to death. The man it was all about getting a deal, right? We used to joke that he would buy 2-ply toilet paper and unroll it to 2 separate rolls and then roll them back up. Like that's how frugal he was. But no, he was just to buy me a bunch of shit. Like a large portion of my Joe collection over those couple of years came from traveling with him down to Pennsylvania.
That's awesome. That's super special.
Definitely. Fun memory too is I hit a growth spurt like 9 to 10. I think, yeah, 9 to 10. Dude, I literally almost as big as I am now. I went through all those changes that a young man does at like 9. There was a lot happening. It was wild. So I got big. And I always had like a motion sickness thing. So he used to give me Dramamine, which is in essence like a Benadryl, right? Just to curb the motion sickness. And so I had this growth spurt. So he was like, "Oh, I've got to adjust the dosage because you're bigger now." And he like overdosed me a little. And I was you don't know how to describe it at the time because you've never been like intoxicated or high on anything. So it was just kind of like, I was like, I feel fuzzy. So when we got there, of course I had to like call my mom on the phone to say, we made it safe, we're here. And I remember giving the phone to my grandfather, and my grandfather was like, no, listen, he's fine. I just gave him a little too much of the Dramamine, so he's a little loopy. And like they sat me down in front of, this would have been the year that I think it was the same year, the A-Team movie came out. Remember where they actually get caught again? Or I don't remember what happens in the movie. I just remember them being like, do you want to watch this? And I remember saying, yeah, I love the A-Team. And it was like something I wasn't supposed to watch, I think, or something like that. And they were like, yeah, go ahead and watch it. But no, those are great memories. My grandfather, we used to do this thing every Sunday before the mall would open. Like the stores would open, the mall itself would be open. So we would go to Colony Center, and for exercise, we would walk up, down, all around like a few times. We would do laps around it. And then when the stores open, he wouldn't necessarily, like, maybe I would get a G.I. Joe, but he would take me to there was a science store where you could buy all this crazy shit it was geared towards kids. So it would be like, the bug catcher with a magnifying glass, or like a Bunsen beaker set, or shit you could do. Yep. Yes, exactly. So he used to always get me shit from there and everything. He was, and then I remember as I got a little older into the teenage years, that Sunday thing, because now all my male cousins were getting older, and we started to do a bowling thing. But I just remember, like, I'm a teenager now. I'm not into hanging out with my grandfather and doing all this. I actually feel terrible about it. Like, he died shortly after, like, I stopped going to the Sunday thing because I was 16 years old. I had like football and like all these other things, and I just, anyway, RIP grandpa. But yeah, those are the good memories. That, and then the story, I've told it a ton of times about getting the Destro into the spoiler while on vacation in North Carolina with my mom. Didn't know it was ever coming out. Didn't know that there was Iron Grenadiers, anything. I saw it on there, and I remember begging her, like, we're never going to find this again. This is some kind of special thing. Because, as a kid, you don't fucking understand. So I'm melting down talking about, if we leave the store without this, I'm never going to see it again. Right. We're going to all die. But my mom, I definitely remember my mom being like, oh, sure. Oh, yeah, of course. We have to buy this, of course. And she did buy it for me. But like, I was like, I remember saying something like, it's a North Carolina thing. We're never going to find this in whatever it was. Well, funny thing is I almost feel like I wouldn't have. I feel like I never saw it up here or something. I don't know. Something.
I mean, that was part of our growing up, though. There were certain things, like, seemed like certain figures were never stocked or whatever. And I think part of the magic of when we grew up and with these toy lines is we didn't know what we didn't know. We didn't know everything that existed necessarily right off, the back of our hands or whatever. It's why going to Toys R Us was such an event, because again, it was the imagination. All things were possible in there. What has come out, what is out there. It was such a great experience getting to sort of having to experience it in person, right, as opposed to having it sort of force fed to us now online, that we know everything that exists and everything that is going to exist. And there's pros and cons to that.
Agreed. It's sort of like, it reminds me of something we no longer have, is appointment television. Like you used to get the family around the TV Friday nights and Saturday nights because something was going to be on, and if you missed it, you weren't going to fucking see it. That was it. Yeah. It was over. Maybe if it was on I think on HBO it would air Saturday night, and then would be on again. I think that they had like, it would be like Monday or Tuesday they would play it again. It was on for the rest of the month, obviously, but like, what I mean. Appointment television was a real thing.
Touchstones that we had for sure. And a lot of what sort of has led me to this place with what I'm doing with GI Retro is this sort of my philosophy, and something that I've ruminated a lot on over the last couple of years, is the world that we grew up in no longer exists. And that is sort of, it's not wholly sad. It is a bittersweet thing, but it is, there is definitely, I have this sort of, I've always been prone to melancholy and nostalgia and ennui and stuff like that, but it's definitely something that I've felt more sort of upon me these last couple of years. And, wanting to sort of tip my hat to how we grew up and what was important to us. And so I live on the West Coast physically, but mentally I consider myself a permanent resident of the Mall of Nostalgia. Nice. So that is where I find myself.
That's awesome. Have you always lived out that way?
Yes. So born in California, lived in Oregon for a handful of years when I was little as well, but always have lived on the West Coast. Yes.
Okay, nice.
So,
That's
yeah,
what's up.
back in California now. Been here for most of my life.
Lot of cool dudes we know live out that way. Travis Moody from Toy Kind of Mood is out there. Brother R.A. Rain is out there. I feel like there's a handful of other California dudes. So that's what's up. Looks like G.I. Dave had something to kind of get going do. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you coming in, man. Really, really cool to see you in the chat. Enjoy yourself, have fun, and I'll chat with you tomorrow. Melted Copper says Tales from the Crypt was fun. Yes, it was. 100%. Melted Copper says we had the living room TV, and most of the time we could camp and wait for my dad to fall asleep before he wore glasses, seeing his eyes wasn't always easy. That's funny. That's funny. Mac Jackson says I'll listen to the rest of during the work week. Good night. Yeah, thank you, Mac. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate it. Mac was on a few weeks ago. If you want to catch that episode, you can go back and check. All right, so moving in along. So when you Sunbow in the figures was largely how I consumed G.I. Joe 2. Like I said, I was getting some of the comic books, but it was never enough to really feel like you were in the flow of the story. Like I remember I had the Saw Viper cover. I had that one. I had, I actually still have some of the ones from when I was a kid. I still have them. But I bought the compendiums, so I have those. I have dudes like my brother Evan Cantrell and my brother Conrad Hauser who have sent me issues of comic books. First of all, are you reading any of the Energon universe?
I am. And I'm not fully caught up yet, but I am very much so enjoying it. I think it's super rad. I love most of what they're doing with it and how the crossovers are working. I can't say enough good things about that Cobra Commander miniseries from a couple years back now. I thought that was so sick and just a really they're doing awesome stuff. And I've heard rumblings about potentially that they want to do an animated series on the Energon universe. I don't know if that's confirmed or just hearsay or whatever, but it would be interesting.
Well, it had a lot of rumblings. They were talking about so that they had tapped the director that did what do you call it? The director that did Invincible. That cartoon was supposed to head this up, which was great because then it's going to be it's going to be geared for adults and not necessarily kids, or at least it's a safe assumption, right? And so and then but the storyline would be based on the comic books, and I was like, man, that's that everybody I know loves that Energon universe. But Evan sent me like 6 comic books. It was one of the Destros, one of the Cobra Commander. It's he sent me the issue where Flint recruits Beachhead into Night Force. Fucking fantastic. But so I'm kind of reading it out of order a little bit. So at this point, I think what I want to do is go back and start at the beginning of the Energon universe and go through, because I don't even have any idea what the order is. That Destro one where he's on the cover with the gold AK in the throne, that's just phenomenal. That's how I envision Destro. Like very much that, just his whole attitude, everything about it, where he's the runner of this company. He could show up in the club and look, pimp daddy like that. Or like he subscribes to this ancient mysticism where he goes to the mountains and is talking to like the ancestors and stuff. And spoiler alert, at the end, what he does to Darklon, I was like, oh dude, this is just fantastic. So I'm all about it. I'm all in for sure. And G.I. Joe guy, brother Conrad is here. He says the Cobra Commander and Destro come first, along with the Scarlet and Duke miniseries. But which order? Is it Cobra Commander first and them, or those ones there are all simultaneously happening? Like I need like an actual list I can work out of. So that's what's up. I just wanted to see if you were reading that, because
I'm not really caught up yet, but I'm really enjoying it, and I like sort of the spins that they are putting on what is familiar, but doing their own thing. And I'm sort of more open to that because it's their own sort of shared universe, so that's going to happen. But I like what I've read so far, for sure.
Awesome. So we're just going to zip back real quick. Let me ask you about favorites. What like when you think of 3 3/4, how I showed you the ones that I have over there. But whether you have them or not, what are the figures that stand out to you, brother?
So it's really tough to narrow it down, as I'm sure you know. But I think Firefly is absolutely my number one, and then everyone else sort of is in this, like, depending on the day of the week it is kind of deal for me. So
Sure.
Firefly, and then I love the fact that you had Blizzard amongst your 3 3/4 inch, because I just think he doesn't get talked about enough. But Shockwave as well was huge for me. Like, nice. he was one that I have like vivid memories of. Wherever I went for a period of time, I had my Shockwave action figure, and I have not recollected him, but I need to do that. Beachhead was another one, same deal. And jumping forward to Classified, that retro Beachhead that they did, I think is amazing. So yeah, really love Beachhead. And then Hit and Run as well was huge. I think he's such a cool, unique action figure. Flint is my favorite on the G.I. Joe side, my favorite character, and I do really love his figure as well. Although, even as a kid, I always lamented that it didn't look more like the cartoon version of Flint. So I want to put that out there. And I loved Sergeant Slaughter. So I really love the USA tank top. The detail on that Sergeant Slaughter I thought was really, really cool. And yeah, just a great character as well. And there's so many. Wetsuit I think is a fantastic figure. Spirit, I could go on and on. There's so many fantastic.
That's what's up. Figures. Cal says Hit and Run is awesome, but what a messed up way to get the code name. Oh, right, because it's oh, wait, what is how did that happen? I don't remember that. It must say something on the
Barry hit him with his car or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I do remember that. Very good.
Anybody?
I know Cal. What I think he's going to tell us. His parents were killed in an accident. Okay, for some reason I was thinking sister, but yeah, that's okay. That's awesome.
Outback is another one that I absolutely love.
Yes. He was one that, dude, I never even saw it, and like I knew it existed. I remember the picture on the back. Dude, there was so many that I just never saw. Like, I had a lot of stores too. So KB was the one I got most of my figures from. In the same mall was a Caldor. And then besides that, I would go, my grandfather would take me to Sears. He bought me like all of those vehicles except for the Dreadnoks one. He was like, I remember he was like, he bought me something, and he was like, I figured you didn't want those green and yellow ones or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you're right, I don't. But and then I also, the CVS that was down the street from me had like 5 pegs of G.I. Joe all the time. It was crazy. They were instead of $2.99, they were maybe $4.99. But like, I could walk down there and buy them. And I got some of the oddball like I remember I got Lightfoot there, I think, and I remember like being like, oh, it was one of the figures. Like, I got it, I saw it, and hadn't seen it on the back of a card yet. However, so it was like mind exploding, like, holy shit, didn't even know this existed. But yeah, those are all great choices. And now, do you collect Classified, or is you mostly?
I mostly am. I've gotten a few. I wouldn't consider myself sort of like a collector of Classified, but I've picked up the Beachhead, the retro Beachhead. I picked up the retro Recondo. I was at a con up here in Northern California recently and picked up this Cobra Commander. So I will grab some here and there. I love the line. I think they're super cool. It's just about, a lot of it's about space for me, space and financially and everything like that.
Right.
And we were just out at Joe Fest, and my brother, he is even more into collecting and recollecting now too, which is cool. Okay. So I'm like talking more about the cartoon and like those memories, but going to Joe Fest was, I definitely felt that itch to start more. And I think for me, it's all about finding like something to chase, but within certain parameters. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just trying to get every firefly I can get my hands on. Like if I see one, I get one, you know, if it's in like good condition, I think that's just going to kind of be my thing. So, like
I have that
behind me. Yeah.
Do you have this one?
No, and I'm kicking myself. I saw one at Joe Fest for a good price, but I was like, let's do a lap. And by the time I came back, it was gone. And I'm kicking myself. So,
okay. So it's on your radar. Listen,
yes.
GI Dave scored it for me from Joe Fest this year. Dude, it is the best 112 figure out there. Like I mean, I don't think I need to sell you on it, but like, dude,
it looks amazing.
It's
so,
unfucking believable.
Yeah.
I was staring at it. Like I had a night where I was down here and I was going to maybe take pictures with it. And like, I only had a short amount of time. Like what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the assist locker setup and have him packing his backpack because he has all those accessories. It's going to take up a whole table. Yeah. He is unfreaking believable. So very, very excited for that. Hopefully I can't wait to hear that you got it. And that's cool. That's a good way to do it. Like this is the figure I like. I'm gonna roll with it. So,
I just think to me, Firefly is the great. I think Firefly is the greatest action figure of all time. I think, and you know, he's like the Boba Fett of GI Joe. You know, and I think
Mark
the
has said
more
that.
he's shrouded in, the better. Like I've read about how eventually he becomes a ninja and all this stuff. I don't need all that. Less more with Firefly, just like with Boba Fett. So I just think he's just the coolest. Like there's no way around it for me. So
or Skizio is asking, or wait, who asked if Lightfoot has Melted Copper asked if Nightfoot has a Light Force. Yes. One of my most coveted things is there is a Shockwave Lightfoot Night Force 2-pack. Cal has made me aware of the price a handful of times. It's like $1,500, so it's obviously not something I'll be getting. But I remember when that Night Force came out, like Shockwave was one of my favorites, and it was one of those things where like I couldn't imagine Shockwave not in the blue. But then I saw it and I was like, fuck, that is sharp. And the same thing with Lightfoot. I was like, wow, this is actually a more digestible like outfit for him, and it was very, very, very cool. I
still prefer the original Shockwave, but the Night Force Shockwave does look sick.
It does, and they did my boy a really good job in the with the I think I have the box right here. Yeah, I was just opening some stuff. So on the classified, they gave him the Ram cycle and just a ton of extras. That's actually a pretty amazing set. Okay. So here's the Night Force Ram cycle. It is awesome. Nice. It's got like, there's just a few things on it. Like, where is it? They got like this portion of the pipe wrapped, you know, to keep, I don't know. I think I remember hearing why that was the reason, but, you know, covert special missions. He's got the, you know, it'd be cool if they found a silencer for this, as ridiculous as it sounds. But the stickering is good. If you've seen the Ram cycle, you've seen them, you know, it's very basic, but this just has touches to it that I don't know, man. I love it. And I don't know if you ever heard me say it. I've made a special sub team of Night Force. It's Night Force Beachhead, Night Force Shockwave. I have 4 Wolf Spiders. They're all going to get shields from Mo's Mind, and they are Strike Team Fangbuster. Now I add other Night Force guys, and also the Alpha Commando Snake Eyes will join the crew sometimes. But basically what they are is, you know, I have this lore. I'm writing this story with my brother Sean Carney from Complete Carnage Photography, who's amazing. The basis is that Cobra's going dormant. G.I. Joe kicked their ass 10 plus years ago, but they never caught Cobra Commander or Destro. So they know that they're up there doing something. Eventually, Hawks and Snake Eyes around the globe, following up leads, anything that's a familiar hiss, he's checking it out. And then basically, like, they come to the conclusion that Cobra is just in America, like how the Crimson Guards were like CEOs and like live normal lives. Well, it's like that, but there's troopers and there's everybody. They're just like Springfield is now just America in general. And so this Night Force team is kicking doors to find these cobras. Like they're taking the battle to Cobra in the urban environment. And that's the rough basis of how this story is going to start. He's got some ideas about other things, where it's going to go, but stay tuned for that. We're going to do like our own photography. And then that way the story, instead of having a comic book where somebody draws something, we're going to take photos to go in the comic book. But the story is going to be primo. Yeah. I'm writing a couple different things at once, and it's definitely keeping my brain nice and sharp. So that's what's up. Did you have any favorite like episodes of the cartoon? Was there anything that ever stood out to you?
I mean, yes, so many, and I think it was really early on. I didn't realize how early in the run, because when you're kids, you don't necessarily always see it in order.
Sure.
But Countdown for Zartan, for this particular moment alone, I'm very excited to get to it in short order on the show.
Okay.
But when Storm Shadow, I believe it's Countdown for Zartan, Storm Shadow takes apart, he destroys a tank with his bare hands. He's just doing martial arts to a tank because, some Cobra troopers are like, the Dreadnoks are espousing, oh, this is how you destroy something. And then Storm Shadow essentially drops this cold line. He's like, yeah, but can you become a weapon? And he's just like judo chopping this tank, and it completely falls to pieces. As a kid, blew my mind. And they won many sort of a playground argument of, who would win in a fight, Storm Shadow or this person. It's always like, well, Storm Shadow, he literally destroyed a tank with his bare hands. So that was definitely a standout moment for me from the cartoon. The whole reason I'm going back to it and doing this is because I wanted to do a love letter to the whole show and to G.I. Joe in general, because there's so many great episodes. And I really do believe it holds up better than people think it does, because like, I think it was held in a certain esteem, and then time moved on, and other animated series came about, and they're great in their own right, but it sort of started getting talked about less and less. And I still think it holds up. So like, I really like the Funhouse episode. And so I think that episode is, a really good time. The Game Master one, we've all seen a lot of the images from that one. And, the Worlds Without End is so incredible that I could go on and on. I love the whole Revenge of Cobra miniseries, which I just went through. Yeah. I think if I had to choose one of the 3 opening miniseries, I probably go Revenge of Cobra. I think the cast in that one is probably the best. I mean, you get Zartan's introduction, you get Firefly a little bit in that one, you get some just fantastic moments with Cobra Commander. Flint appears on the scene, and I was definitely a Flint guy. So yeah, I would probably go with those. But there's the Excalibur again with Storm Shadow and everything like that. There's so many great episodes that I'm very excited to get to each of them as we're going on this journey on GI Retro. And then I know Serpentor is sort of controversial, but I have very fond memories of watching Serpentor Arise. I think it's
the best
mini series. I love GI Joe going on these sort of like Indiana Jones adjacent type adventures, and I love Sergeant Slaughter. The live action sort of wraparounds that he did for that are top tier.
So I think Sergeant Slaughter was so amazing for GI Joe in a sense that GI Joe, as a kid, you can kind of think, well, GI Joe is real, but then when you see the Sergeant Slaughter, you're like, oh no, but there he is. You can see him wrestling. He's a real person. It lent this legitimacy to it that I think brought out the amazingness of it.
A living embodiment.
Right. I feel like what you also mentioned there was how they're globe-trotting to fight these battles to get this stuff. It's a hallmark of their best stuff. Like if you look at the Mass Device, they're all over the globe looking for shit. They're the Joes. They got 4 Joes here, 5 Joes here, a bunch of Joes over there. Same thing with even the G.I. Joe, the movie, right? They're fighting Cobra and all these different fronts. I think it adds such a global, a global terrorist unit. It makes it seem like, G.I. Joe is protecting the world, for sure.
Yes. Land and sea and air.
Right. And now listen, I've always talked about Serpentor is a otherworldly gigantic douchebag, right? He is a monster prick of the utmost magnitude. But and I didn't like how he treated Cobra Commander, because I love Cobra Commander, or whatever. But like, it was one of those things where you're like, you don't get to pick on Cobra Commander, only we do. Only we get to call him a coward. You don't get to say that shit. But I liked how he was like, I'm the boss here, motherfuckers. Get in line. This I command. That I thought was, I appreciate that. I thought it was cool.
There is something to be said about when he's brought in as well, that we had fallen for Cobra Commander. We love Cobra Commander, so it makes it more difficult to root against in that way. So you introduce the Serpentor character. It's like, well, I'm not rooting for that guy. So it kind of gets us back to the wrestling. We've got a proper heel to go against the baby faces. So
yeah, definitely. Now, something that as we're talking about this, one of the things that's going to be now the thing I'm writing with Sean from Complete Carnage Photography, we are sticking to what everybody knows, right? We're not straying from lore except for one thing, and it involves Serpentor. And I think everybody is going to, well, first of all, the whole story, I think when it's done, I think everybody's going to really, really enjoy it. But what we're doing with Serpentor, I think everybody's going to be like, this is fucking awesome. So very, very excited I was supposed to drop some stuff we have a Google Doc. I was supposed to drop some stuff in there last week, but all this chaos, it's just, I haven't had time. Yeah, that's what's up. Chris from Sister Arsenal is here. Thank you for coming, my brother. I appreciate it. We have something that's going to hit his shop tomorrow. We'll be showing pictures of that shortly. Yes. Yeah. So, thank you for coming, brother. So I think Arise, Serpentor, Arise is the best. Like, to me, like the first 15 minutes of the movie are as good as anything I've ever seen. And that includes regular movies. Like, I can watch that first 15 minutes. The movie as a whole is good. It's I try to appreciate Cobra Law for what it is, but it unfortunately detracts from having if they didn't have Cobra Law in there and it was just Cobra Commander and Destro almost taking over the world, and they had this other plot, something different, it probably would just be my favorite thing of all time. But the first fucking 15 minutes, the animation, the music, first of all, the opening theme song, it makes the hair on my neck stand up. The trombone in the background coming through. It's amazing.
I'll watch it on repeat. It is the intro to G.I. Joe the movie, I think, is the greatest thing set to animation of all time. It is like it starts up here and it just keeps hitting, which, and again, the movie is good. Everything you said about Cobra Law, and it's sort of you're right on the money, but that intro is just so peak. Like, I cannot overstate enough. Probably eventually we'll do a video breaking down all the different intros from the miniseries and the different seasons and stuff like that. But I know number one, everybody knows that the number one is G.I. Joe the movie. That intro, there's no top. There's so many great moments, and I think it is tinged because we're getting to see all of our favorites have hero moments in this intro. And then they don't get to have, a lot of them don't get to have them in the movie itself. And that's a little bit of a miss for me.
Fucking Lowlight walks out and goes showtime. And that's it. I mean, so that part did suck. Chuckles doesn't even get to say anything, So it's definitely, all that definitely sucks. But like, when you have a movie that's character rich and it's only a certain amount of time, like, it's hard to, I want to say I get it, right? They did have Beachhead prominent, and I thought that was good, especially, and also in Arise, Serpentor Arise, Beachhead was very prominent, and he shot right up to like my favorite. So, very, very cool. Yeah, Rise, Serpentor Arise, I think is probably my favorite, right up there with the movie. But the first other two miniseries with the Revenge of Cobra and Pyramid of Darkness, they're just all fucking awesome. Those are just all amazing. So definitely stand out to me. Worlds Without End stands out. But the Funhouse is one of my ones. You mentioned that too, man. And I've been going through these a lot lately, and I'm having a hard time remembering a lot of them. There was one recently I saw That was Red Rocket's Glare. I like that one because it shows like, you know, it's the Recondo and Roadblocker in the Jeep and their shirts, you know, just like, I don't know, it was something a little bit different. And I thought that was awesome. So
No Place Like Springfield as well.
Yes.
Very
yes.
good.
Which is such a wild concept and everything, right? Like the idea of shipwreck being, you know, everything about it is fantastic. So that's what's up. Now, you're young, you're moving through. There's a lot of people, I refer to it as the dark abyss for collecting for some people. Whereas somewhere around 12, the Joes went into the box and I didn't think about them until again. So I did that move in 2007 and I lost my 2 giant boxes, my Terradrome, my Havoc, 50 complete figure. I lost all that. And I was a little sad, even though taking them out and looked at them and God knows how long, I still was like, that sucks. And then I saw the figures in 2008, the 25th anniversary stuff. I got a few of those, but then nothing happened again until 2024. Tell us about then till now. What was collecting like?
So like you know, eventually you get your interests change a little bit and everything like that. I started getting into card games a little bit, it wasn't Magic the Gathering, but there was a pro wrestling card game called Raw Deal that I played a good amount of, Legend of the Five Rings. And so that kind of started to take up more of my time because it was, again, being very imagination oriented. It was something very active to where it's like it also, I liked the concept of deck building and sort of like coming up with different combinations and things like that. The strategy of that I thought was very cool. But like you, I had, the G.I. Joes put away and everything like that, and subsequent moves and everything like that, yard sales and everything. A lot of it at some point, we had a flood at one point in time. So a lot of it just, sort of got put by the wayside. And it's been fun to now, like, coming back to it. And like I said, sort of trying to recollect some of my favorites. I love what you have, which is limiting it to maybe some of your just, sort of elite of the elite that you had as a kid. Like, and I still think somewhere I probably still have Beachhead and Shockwave somewhere, nice, because they were with me pretty much always, along with Firefly and stuff like that. Oh God, totally on the figure question too. Zartan. I love Zartan as a figure. I love Zartan as a character. So he's definitely somebody I want to get my hands on.
Right.
I know that's probably pretty tough.
Another thing that they dropped the ball with and classified is they should have came out with the deluxe set where he's on the swamp skier. It breaks down into a box and he can drag it around with the old man mask.
Yes.
I can't wrap my head around how, they gave all the, if they can do a figure like Night Force Shockwave and give him all this shit, why couldn't they do that for our Zartan? I don't know. I know there's a massive difference between where the line was when he came out as number 23, and they did give him that SDCC thing, right? The Master of Disguise. So it was like, but nobody gives a shit about all those extras, the monkey paw, which is all that's fine. But like, I would have really enjoyed a, whatchamacallit, get the box and the whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I totally get that. And I know Super 7 has probably, people have their opinions about Super 7 and everything like that. Their Ultimates line helped sort of get me back into it because, like I was talking about with Flint, I always wanted a Flint that looked more like the cartoon. And so when I saw that was being released, I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Right.
And that sort of reignited a lot for me. And
awesome.
In the intervening years between collecting, so I went to college for broadcasting, and we did a show called the Best Damn Nerd Show for about 12 years. And so that definitely, growing up being, a nerd of our era and everything like that sort of, definitely was something that reignited a lot of my passions for that kind of thing. But it had its run, and we said goodbye to it, and I was very at peace with that. And that was a few years ago now. But I needed to come back in some way. And towards the end of even the run on the Nerd Show, the sort of the prevailing like things in nerd culture were becoming more divisive and more polarizing. I didn't like certain direction, like a lot of the things were going that I was seeing. And I also didn't really like the ecosystem of being a part of it, where it's like a lot of it was rage bait, or you either had to say everything is perfect and this is the most awesome thing since the last thing, or everything sucks. And and neither one of those were my speed. I'm not here to sort of really optimize my monetary capabilities through YouTube. I'm here to do this as a love letter. So, and but I needed an outlet, and it really, as I was sitting for the last couple of years thinking about it, I kept coming back to GI Joe and how much I loved it, and started tapping back into it. During COVID, did some rewatching of the cartoon because they're, I have them on DVD, but they were also very, very readily available on YouTube. So I would just throw those on. I was like, gosh, it took me back. And then, so I started tapping back in on social media and everything like that. And the community, the GI Joe community is so positive that every time I kept thinking more, I was like, what if I did like something with GI Joe, talking about it with Mrs. Retro and stuff like that. And the more I talked about it, and the more I thought about it, the more I felt sort of vindicated that I was coming back to the right space. It was one of the first things I was into as a kid. And so that's sort of how I got here.
Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I love it.
You're a huge part of that, by the way, too. Like, seeing like because I had made the decision that I was going to do this. And I'd been planning, I'd been sort of, getting newer equipment, like, cause I'd gotten rid of a lot of stuff and everything like that. And I was prepping and preparing and everything, but trying to interact and actually be part of the community.
Yeah, we talked about this. That's right. I remember that now. We talked about it, I think, before the show actually kicked off.
I think so. Yes. And
no shit.
It just was the more, and I was just there at that point. I was like, just there to actually, be hanging out with people that love GI Joe. And the more I did, I was like, dude, everybody, like, it's my pinned tweet for reasons, like that GI Joe Twitter is the best corner of the internet. And I firmly believe that. And I keep coming back to that. And I feel like it keeps being proven correct. So, because like 100%. Everybody is so supportive of one another. And we're just here to talk about like this property that we love, whether it's the comics, the figures, the show. Like, there's so many different avenues, and like, I respect so much what you do, what like Destro as my spirit animal does. That was another thing. Like, I love watching his videos about going through like ranking the years. Like, it's to me, that's like, what do they call it? ASMR or whatever. Like, it's just, I find it so relaxing, and to watch him go through each year of the line, and like, it takes me back. So it is such a great space to be in. I'm just, stoked to be part of it.
For sure. Yeah, no, I've told Mark that before. Is he hits the notes of something where like it's his voice, it's his cadence, it's a very measured kind of thing that isn't like it doesn't wear you out. It's not like it's craziness and explosions and sounds where you're just like, oh my God, this is so much. It's more just like and especially like the things that he does too with like the mythology things where he breaks stuff down. Like I can't, like, I literally am always blown away. Like, even something that I thought I knew, like the Voltron one. I watched the Voltron one. I learned so much about it. Like, I didn't know that came from the Japanese, I think, Japanese or Chinese, forgive me, an Asian inspired thing. And then I learned all about that right off the bat. The Predator one, which I'm like, oh yeah, no, I've seen every Predator movie, blah, blah, blah. I know everything. There was like a dozen little facts that I had no idea about. I didn't know they had a name. They're called a Yautja. Like, my mind was blown. I just couldn't believe it. And so while being wildly entertaining, it's super informative. It's just unbelievably great. So that's awesome. Some praise for the community in here. Spencer's Lair says GI Joe Twitter is where it's at, and Mike is the Godfather. Well, like, we were talking about this before the show. Thank you, Spencer's Lair. We it took a lot of people. We were all strangers to each other, right? And here I am, just being this overt extrovert and trying to talk to everybody like I've known them my whole life, and just one of those things where, you know, if you don't like, we all can say we don't like a toy, but like when somebody's posting finished photo work or, hey, I'm doing this, like, there's no reason to be like, I don't like it. There's no reason to say it. Just encourage the person. They'll get better. Like, this is what we're here for. You know, we'll all get to the mountaintop together. That's the way I look at it. It's a group effort. And, you know, shout out to, like, I call them my OG 13, like those first group of people that, you know, it was us. And then the next thing you know, just all these other, you know, people that were getting wind of it. And like, just as I'm looking this name, I see here, like Orskizio, you know, he popped into the chat of one of the shows somewhat recently. And when, after I got to know him and started talking, it's just, yeah, he was kind of kicking around for a while. He knew the community existed. He enjoyed it. And then, you know, and that's how it is for, I think, a lot of people, you know, even like today where, you know, like I was saying, Chris from the Full Force saw my video of the flood and all the stuff that happened. It was like, you know, even though we may not see these people or talk to them, they're there. Like, they're all floating around, and then every once in a while it kind of pulls into the thing. Call sign smashes. Mike is quite literally the only reason I have a Twitter. Yes. So I met my brother over on Instagram, and I was like, dude, this is the spot. Let's give it a roll. I also think I saw another name, my brother Ellis from Dreadnought, my brother Ellis. Same thing. I met him on, was it Instagram or was it Facebook? I thought it was somewhere else. I convinced him to come over here, and everything is fantastic. Matt from Mo's Mind, you know, without a doubt, definitely had to, you know, because I meet good people other places. It's like, hey, I know, you know, Twitter has a name, but you need to check out this little spot that we have because it's absolutely fantastic. So,
I do want to shout out Serpentor's Lair too, because I absolutely love, I mean, all the content they put out in general is great. And I know you write for them. The polls that they do, like the figure versus figure.
Oh yeah. It's awesome.
Some of my favorite stuff. And there's so many hard decisions. But it is, you know, it's one of my favorite things to go on there. It's like, all right, who we got facing off today?
For sure.
I don't always agree with who wins and everything like that, but it's always very interesting, and I love seeing the discourse about it.
And sometimes you're faced with hard choices, right? Like, I'm trying to remember, there was, I think it was, oh man, I'm trying to remember. It was like, it might have been something like Shockwave and Alley Viper, or it was two of those guys that I just loved to death. And I kind of remember being like, you know, what is the, you know, how do I pick here? And I think I gave the edge to Shockwave because there's a bunch of Alley Vipers. Another one will come along. Shockwave has to win that battle. So, but no, yeah, definitely shout out to Serpentor's Lair for sure. That, you know, the website is a great place to go and have, you know, forum conversations. I think it's really, really cool. And yeah, I enjoy writing because it's so I actually thought, I have been published before when I was in my early 20s, and I thought I was going to be the next Hunter S. Thompson. But then real life intervenes, and I'm like, oh, I love money. Like, I really like money. And nobody was paying me to write then. And I took this, I thought I was going to be an engineer. I was taking this, I took a class at a trade school, which was going to give me credit towards becoming an engineer. And and in that, there was people who had been there. I like smoked everybody. I made this bookcase, never done anything like this before, made a bookcase, and it won best in the building trades and then won best project in the whole school. And I had like all these awards, and the guy who was the teacher, shout out to Tom Glasser. He was like, listen, you might want to consider this. He's like, the shit you're over here doing, there's, you know, it takes people a long time to whatever. And then as you know, he actually got me a job teaching a construction class. So, but anyways, you know, I thought I was going to be a writer going through my 20s. I was in a couple magazines and shit like that. I helped a guy with a book, and I had to shut that part off because I didn't have time. You know, even going through my 20s, I would sit down, I would try to write, but it was just, I never had the full energy. Like in my 20s, bro, I was like the personification of a bachelor. I didn't have any responsibilities. I was making good money. I could do like remodel a bathroom and then party for 3-4 days. I didn't have anything to worry about it. So it was, I didn't get, but then, so getting back to it, I now was a great thing. I just kept seeing article after article come out from there. And I was like, man, I reached out and was like, hey, can I write something for you, or what's going on? And now here we are today. So he was gracious enough to let me just get on out there and put my thoughts out. And I think it's great. And now I'm doing all these other things with, writing the comic book for Roadblock and doing the thing with Sean and all this stuff. It's just been fantastic. So yeah, it's that daily goodness, right? It's something that you're seeing every day, like Big Red's,
Oh my gosh, I love the Joe Days from Big Red.
Me too.
His write-ups, beyond just the figure, the way he paints the word picture about the memory itself of having the figure and playing with it, like it's like going into a time machine. It's a beautiful thing.
Agreed. And and it's also like, even like I was saying with Pop Cult Frenzy, like, yes, you're looking at deals, but it's just good stuff that's constantly in your feed. So I love it. I mean, like the last couple weeks, I've just been so freaking busy. I try to put as much as I can out there. Finished photography has, taken a back seat. If you haven't heard me talk about, like, I remodeled half my basement so we'd have more space. And then I literally gutted the entire second floor down to the studs. I had spray foam insulation put in. I ran all new electrical everywhere. And I'm in the tail end of the drywall stage. I'm hoping that, by like Monday night, I'm putting up my first coat of joint compound. And basically I want to have it done before the kids have to go back to school. So it's like, it's a lot.
You're under the gun.
Yeah. But brother, I've come to understand myself that I'm always under the gun because I don't know how else to live. I'm just like, I'm constantly doing a bunch of things, and I want to live. I don't want to sit down and relax. I want to do shit. I feel like I'm squeezing the most out of every day of life. Like I don't think I'm going to die anytime soon, but I want to live like I want to get everything out of what, you know what I mean?
For sure.
I mean, obviously things have changed when you have a kid, when you have, or kids in my case. The girls that came down, they're twins. I actually was blessed with, like, I didn't think I was going to have kids. I was what's that?
I said a little Zaymot and Tomax.
Yes. I said something to them one time, and they just both were like, they don't mind the GI Joe stuff, right? They're at that stage. They're almost teens, and so they're at that stage where anything that I really enjoy is eye rolling to them. You know what I mean? Like, these fucking toys again, and shit like that and whatever. But no, they actually, I've had them down. I've let them, like, they see when I'm doing a photograph and how I have all the stuff set up. They think that's cool. So like one time I was down here working on something. Actually, I think I was just like cleaning up over here or something, and they were like, "Oh, we wanna do something." So I let them, you know what, pick whatever you want. I was like, "Don't touch any of the Mezcos, but if you want to, look at anything else, and you can't take the Serpentor out of the box, that's gonna stay." But no, they picked like OG, the retro gung ho, a bunch of like any figures that were green, like like the Grunt and the I had Zap and whatever, and then they picked out a bunch of green Sister E Arsenal stuff, and that was it. And so they absolutely love it. So where do you?
Mrs. Retro and I are expecting, so I'm very excited to follow in that adventure and get to share all this stuff with it as well sometime soon. So,
that's so awesome! Congratulations to you both. I'll tell you something. The best advice I can give somebody is also happens to be the most universal advice that was given to me. And what everybody said to me was, cherish every second, because it's going to go like this. And before you know it, it's over. And you don't want to look back and say, I should have done this. Like today, I had stuff I wanted to do down here. I had other stuff I wanted to do. And I had told them I was going to take them to the pool with the diving boards. So I'm like, yeah, fuck everything else. Get in the car, let's go. And that's it. Like even those moments, like in the middle of the night, if the baby's having a hard time and you're trying to rock her back to sleep, there is going to come a time when you would kill a person to have to stay up with that baby again. You know, it's going to go by quick. And so, yeah, cherish even those moments that, you know, you're changing a diaper and they shit on your hand. Like you've got to love those moments. That things that are challenging, you have to love it. Cause I promise you there will come a time when you're like, I'd give anything to listen to the screaming kid again. The other bit of advice that I would give you is don't listen to people. Now, what I have found.
I'm gonna listen to you.
Yeah. Well, so what you do, you grab a small handful of people who you trust their opinion, and then take what they have and blend it into. Because listen, every person is such a unique person that how one person parents another person is going to be unique to those two people, because there's no two people that are like them. There's no other combination of those two people. So you'll hear stuff from people that like, oh, don't do this, or, oh, this will suck if you blah, blah, blah. You're going to know exactly what to do, right? I mean, hold on. Obviously the doctors, you implicitly listen to your doctors. But like in terms of the average person that's trying to give you advice, number one, just take it with a grain of salt. And take what, you know, say, even if you trust a person, take what they're saying and weave it into what you feel to be the best move, right? Your instincts will lead you properly, and you'll know what to do. And also, like some parents, like some people had kids too early and they regret the fact that their 20s were raising 3 kids who maybe don't like them now, or, you know what I mean? Like there's parents who like didn't have the best experience because, well, they sucked asses being parents, and they'll try to impart that on you. Like, oh, you know, these kids, you gotta whoop them into shape. Or like, you know, there's parents that'll say shit that like even people that I knew and liked, I remembered saying shit about kids. And I was just like, I don't believe that or even want to hear it. Like I just, so, you know, limit the input in terms of like what to do, you'll find quick that you're like, there's certain information that will hit home, and others you'll just, you know, let it go by the wayside. But and another thing, I don't let my kids have any tech. They have no tablets, they have no phones, they have
I joke about we don't know the gender, but I joke about whatever it is, trying to start it like it was born in the 80s.
Right. Well, dude, listen. We have a desktop that I let them use. They do projects where they're being creative on it, right? Anytime I have cardboard I did a couple hot water tanks. Guess what? I got 4 cardboard boxes out there that they're going to make something out of. If you present them with other things, they will gravitate towards it. So now my kids did have, at one point we got them these tablets, and over the course of just a couple weeks, even with only giving them an hour at a time, it had consumed them completely. So even though they only had an hour of time, they were spending their whole day scheming and planning and plotting and begging to get them back. And when what pushed it over the edge was when my one daughter was like, oh, but tablet time's over? Well, what else am I going to do? And that's when I knew that it had overtaken them completely. And so again, not to tell anybody how to do it. I took the tablets away completely, and I told them, I said, hey, don't ask for them. You've got to move on and occupy your mind with something else. We go to Cape May once a year. We just went last month or a couple weeks ago, and I allow them to watch it on the way down because it's a 5-hour drive, right? And when we're down there, if we have a rainy day and we've already played the cards or something like that, fine. You want to go in there for an hour and look at something. We're on vacation. But I'll tell you that I also coach all their sports teams, basketball and softball. I look at the kids who show up with the phone and the kids that don't have the stuff. There is a marked difference. It's obviously it's not even good for adults either, but for kids that are developing, it's so bad. It's just so bad. But anyways, that would be the only that would be my only, advice that I could give, because everything else you're gonna know what to do. It'll unfold before you.
I super appreciate it. And yeah,
definitely. How far along, like how close are you to
November is the time? So we're coming up. Yeah.
Nice.
Getting there. I get my stuff together,
do the other thing, no matter how many videos you see or anything like that, nothing is going to prepare you for the action. Like when it happens, if you're actually seeing it, it's the most amazing thing. Like again, you can watch a video of it and you'll be like, no shit, look at that. And it will impress you in a way that you're like, this is crazy. That's a person coming out of another person. When you see it in real time, I almost passed out. Like, so the first baby came,
I imagine I probably will as well.
Yep. First baby came and they were like, do you want to cut the cord? And I was like, what? Like, I didn't know that was an option. They hit me with that on the fly. And I was like, one of the doctors was like, you'll regret it if you don't. And instantly I was like, it shook me out of it. And I was like, you're right. Cut the cord. They handed me something. I put it in the tray. Like we did some other things. And then as soon as, now there's still another baby to come out. So they were like, put the one baby down, they're cleaning it off. And I just remember being like, feeling woozy. And one of the nurses saying, Dad, there's a stool behind you if you want to take a seat because you look like you're about to fall over. And I did. I sat down for a second. And then the other baby was trying to come out like Superman. So they had to go in and put her arm down so they could take her out like that. Baby A, baby B, they were 11 minutes or they were 11 minutes apart. Their mother got the epidural and then we waited for like a full 24 hours. And she was like, I don't feel anything. Like, I just don't feel anything. Or no, I'm sorry. The epidural came the next day. We waited almost 24 hours. They were like, listen, it's going to happen. They gave her the epidural. And she was like, I still don't feel anything. And like 2 hours after that, she was like, hey, I think I feel something. And they went to check. And the baby was like right there. So they were like, oh, it's happening. So it took 9 minutes for the first one, 11 minutes for the second one. And yeah, I'm super blessed too, because then I got 2 and didn't have to go through the phases of, like we go through the diaper phase and then we have a kid that's in this phase, but now we have another one that's in the diapers. Yeah. I'm able to focus my attention on raising both of them. Really, honestly, it was the best. It's like, again, from thinking I wasn't going to have any kids to all of a sudden being blessed in this way. It was fantastic. So,
blessed is the word that we keep using as well.
Yes, that's true. Listen, a lot of people out there would give anything to be parents and they just can't for a multitude of reasons. So definitely. And it's what it is too, brother. It's truly a blessing. You'll be about a year in and or maybe not even, because I think it was like right off the bat. I can remember so for the first 3 months, I was up with the kids every night, like literally all night. For that first little time there, you have to, every 3 hours, they have to be fed. So it was like, I would feed them both, change them both, put them back in. They had these things that were right next to my bed, but not in the bed. Right. And I used to sit there and I'd watch them. I had a little pen light so I could make sure that they were breathing. And then I would lay down, I'd pass out for like an hour and a half, and then I'd have to get up and do it again. And I lived like that for 3 months because I was scared shitless. I was like, nothing's going to happen to these kids in the middle of the night. Like I was, it was one of those things where I lived like a crazy person for a really long time. I lived for me for so long. I was like, okay, I've done all this. I can live for somebody else now. And that's how it is now that they're, 10, 11 years old, I'm able to allow them their space to grow. I got this nice hobby that levels off. But yeah, man, those first 5 years, dude. So I actually took a position with the state where I worked 8 and skate. We had the benefits, the whole thing, and it was just worked well because I wasn't doing anything else. Like again, the whole life still revolves around the kids, but you get to a point where they get older and you need to slowly allow them to, you're not up their ass every 5 seconds. You do a little bit of your own things in the house. So, but congratulations, brother. I think that's fantastic. I'm super happy for you guys.
I wasn't expecting to share that, but it just, felt right.
That's what's up. Keep us updated. Everybody will be now. I'm sure everybody that's watching, we're all now invested. So that's what's up.
Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool. So when did you post your first video on the YouTube channel? That was a couple months ago.
Yeah, I think after a couple of false starts or trying to get ready, I think in March, I want to say we launched.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, so I think back in March, because I wanted to also let like the sort of the lapsed audience from my previous show know a little bit in advance, like, hey, like we ended the show, that's not coming back, but I'm gonna be doing something. It's different but adjacent. Like if you want to come along for the ride, great. And the response there was very cool too. That so there were a lot of people that rocked with us for a lot of years. So to reconnect with them a little bit was great. So yeah, then I launched it in March. And originally before I launched, I was like very ambitious. Like, oh yeah, no, maybe like we'll breeze through the 3 miniseries. I'll do 2 episodes a week. No, it became very apparent how I wanted to do it and the depth I wanted to do it with would not work for that. And also my whole premise is this being a love letter to the show and celebrating each and every episode. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to do 2 a week. You know, I want to sort of let each one stand on its own a little bit. And I've really loved the sort of community within the community that's built around that and people sharing their own thoughts and opinions. So now, and I kind of had a feeling that this would be the case, but now like I'll probably do another little mailbag episode or mail call episode after I finish Pyramid of Darkness, just to circle back to some of the things that got talked about, got brought up throughout that miniseries, and then we'll be on deeper into season 1 and going from there.
Nice. That's what's up, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. And definitely listen, I'd love to come on too. So whenever that seems right, man, just let me know and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is I feel like that'll be easier once we're through the miniseries. We get into like the standalone, for lack of a better term, sort of the monster of the week style episodes. Like that'd be fun. So if you want to shoot me, or anybody's watching that, you know, has their own show or whatever that wants to come on too, like circle your favorite episodes, and I want to start layering that in as well, because I also want to have a little bit of a proof of concept, because I've been out of the game for a little while, that I'm not just, you know, just some Yahoo out here or whatever. So now we're off to the races, and I can't say enough about how much fun it's been and just how rewarding the conversations. I think my favorite part is really just interacting with all the people. There's people that watch every episode and comment on there, and I really have come to appreciate their insights, their thoughts and opinions, and like just building this different facet of the community has been really cool. So I'll definitely have you on, and we'll have some fun. And I try and bring my own little bent to it, you know, with my background in sports broadcasting and everything. So we've got like awards that we hand out and stuff like that. Like we do episode MVP. We have the foul up of the week. So I use the little sting from the G.I. Joe the movie. Sergeant Slaughter called Lieutenant Falcon a foul up. And then we've got the "but did you die" moment of the week. So I like to find a moment in the episode that is just sort of so completely absurd, there's no way that this character would have lived or whatever, and stuff like that. And also one of the fun ones that just sort of happened organically as I was watching, as I call it, the MIA, the missing in action figure, which is like, why wasn't this a toy? Like, you know, this should have been something in the original line. Like one of the main ones so far is, do you remember the giant cobra headed plane from like the fact that didn't make it into the line is kind of wild to me, because it featured so prominently.
It really was.
So stuff like that, and like, so trying to layer in like just like little recurring bits and segments to sort of have my own spin on the commentary about the episodes is what it's been very, very fun.
That's what's up. Good night, Big Red. Thank you for joining us, brother. Enjoy the rest of the show, my man. We'll talk tomorrow. So let's see. Let's get in. You sent me some pictures about Joe Fest. I'm going to throw them up here, and you can tell us about them. So here we go.
Okay. So some of these early ones, this is from, so with the Nerd Show, I used to cover San Diego Comic-Con for years and years. And so I was going through my phone the other day and I found some of these old Comic-Con photos. So yeah, that's from San Diego Comic-Con many years ago. Just with some random cosplayers that were rocking Flint, Baroness, and Storm Shadow there, and I forget what year that was and what that display was, but probably had a lot of the toys set up in there as well down in San Diego.
Nice. Awesome. Very cool. That's a great photo. We got another one here. Let me see. I got to take that one off. And oops, roll up. Darn it. I'm so terrible with this thing. No. Let's see. There we go. And boop. There we are. We all know who that is.
Yeah. So that is from Joe Fest this year. And so, yeah, that's Sergeant Slaughter putting me in the Cobra Clutch, of course. I've done some coverage and I do play-by-play for independent professional wrestling as well on the side. So I've been fortunate enough to cross paths with the Sarge on a few occasions. And I just can't say enough about what a great ambassador he is to the G.I. Joe community. And just, he takes so much time with each and every fan. He's such a nice guy. I think we are just blessed as a fandom, again, to have that living embodiment of one of the characters, and he takes it really seriously to make sure that everyone has like a really positive experience when they come meet him and everything.
Everybody that meets him says nothing but the absolute most glowing things, just a sweetheart of a man, just a great guy. And like you said, an amazing ambassador to the line. So I hope he feels like he's appreciated in the way that we all think he is, right? I know that they just had at Joe Fest, they had the dinner with Sarge where he was introduced to the G.I. Joe Hall of Fame. And I know that there was a lot of people there that, were celebrating him. And I love that, because oftentimes, especially with, famous people don't come out and give them the flowers till they're fucking dead. And at that point, it almost doesn't matter. Sure, it's nice for their kids to see and stuff like that. But like, take a minute and let the man know how important he is. So I love it. I love it. And I think that happens probably at every show too. Everybody that goes up, oh, dude, you're the fucking man. You're constantly meeting people who are giving you that impression. So that's cool. Very good picture too. Love it.
Thank you.
We got another one here. Look at that.
Yep, San Diego again. Just that was on my way to the convention that year, and so I knew I was heading in the right direction when I saw the cosplayers. So another old San Diego Comic-Con.
Very good. Very good. Let's see. And now we got one more.
Yeah, that was another one from Comic-Con, a little stalker on the floor of the convention center. I don't know what's going on with my camera here, but yeah, just I always like when I'd find the G.I. Joe cosplayers in San Diego, I always try and grab a quick pic with them. There's some cool cosplayers. I didn't send the photo, but some good cosplayers at Joe Fest this year too, which I am hoping to make going to Joe Fest a sort of regular thing. We'll see, as with life changes coming my way very rapidly here, but it was a great time. I encourage anyone that has not been, that it was definitely worth the trip. I mean, we went from California to Georgia for it, and we had an absolute blast.
Good. Yeah. Keep in mind, brother, we are going gangbusters there next year. So,
okay.
If you've heard it on the show, I didn't go this year, and Mark didn't go this year. But we are planning on going next year and doing a whole thing. CG Horror is talking about, trying to put something together. So like the Saturday night, yeah, we got people coming from all over the country, and the Twitter community is going to be representing like a motherfucker, bro. It's going to be
a live show.
Oh, I'm going to. I'm going to Saturday night. I'm trying to decide if it's going to be like in the lobby, or if we're going to go somewhere. But Chris from Sister Arsenal, we talked about it. It's I think he's giving me access to something to actually stay in that hotel. So it's going down, and I've already started to inquire a little bit about what kind of equipment I would need, to have a couple people, where we're all kind of sitting there, sort of thing, with a microphone that works and everything, how we could do it. So no, I'm excited for that. Like, as much as I want to go and just hang out, I also want to capitalize and be like Viper Den Studios live, on the same night that I normally do the show and everything. So that's what's going to happen. So let's see. We got one more photo here. Boop.
Oh, so yeah, that's from Joe Fest. So that's that's me and my brother and my that was I think that was the thumbnail we used for that episode for doing a little Joe Fest recap. But we had such a great time. It was just a total brother trip, and holding up the main thing that I wanted to find from Joe Fest, which was that Commando Attack board game that I grew up playing, and just had so many fond memories of playing it with my brother, playing it with my dad. And you know, my dad would very often, we've joked about this recently, he would be Cobra, and he'd be like, all right, well, Destro's gonna go take Destro and the Baroness are gonna go off and frolic together. You know, my dad had a very very acute sense that that Baroness was a total babe. So
Nice.
yeah, I didn't get it when I was super young, but as I got older, I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. But yeah, we found it. It was one of the first things that we saw at the show, and I thought that I would see a ton of them. It was literally only that one, so I picked it up. Yeah,
awesome. Spentor's later says, I want to see Mike's face when he first steps on the show floor. So I already know, and I could tell by talking to people that were there this year, I'm gonna have to do, you know, the time that's for the convention, because it goes to like, it's not all night. It like goes from whatever, it's like a few hours during the day, right? So it like ends at 4 or 5 o'clock or something like that. Dude, I'm 100% gonna have to go take an hour power nap and then come back down, because I'm gonna be talked out, and like just like the excitement of it will have blown my circuitry. But I know that just a quick, I mean, listen, on Saturdays, I usually work or I'm doing something crazy with the kids. So I usually try to sit down at like 4 o'clock, have something to eat. I take a nap, then I get up and I do all the different kinds of prep for the show and whatever I need to do, take a shower, and it's like starting my day all over again. So, but yeah, keep that in mind for next year, brother. That'd be fucking awesome. Really gonna be worth it.
I'm more excited now.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I'm gonna roll through something real quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up, because we've hit the 3-hour mark. I am gonna just show off. I have something new from Sys 3D Arsenal to talk about real quick. Boop. So some new items incoming. These will be up tomorrow. With, as well as, he's been talking about ratchet straps. So if any of you have seen, my brother has made these amazing like totes and stuff that would be like, say, in the back of the Atlas where they have the little toe hitches. You could strap down this stuff with it. I think it's an amazing, awesome thing to have. And then there's going to be these buckets with, I believe he said, other names like that, right? We got the Argo, Extensive Enterprises, Mars, the actual Sys 3D Arsenal bucket, like all of that. So very, very cool. Very, very exciting. And listen, I have that cart, and it is freaking awesome. It's like, so I got that cart, and at the same time it's a blue barrel that is designed to the exact specs of a chlorine barrel. You know what I'm talking about? The big blue one with the 2 white caps on top. Well, it's designed to be exactly like that. And I had somebody it was just trying to look around for it. I actually had, if you could see, the Cobra Commander podium. I actually had a Televiper pushing with the podium on it. And I had like a range Viper behind him. And he was like, come on, I need you to move faster. Cobra Commander's waiting. You know what I mean? And it was just, I didn't actually take the photo and do the whole thing. But yeah, so that's what we got coming up. Can't wait. Well, I've actually been waiting to put an order in over there, because there's a few things that I want. But I think I'm going to have to probably try to grab that pretty soon, because that looks awesome. This is something else that I'm looking at here. Where we go. Boop. Now, this is an amazing shot. Chris did this himself. We've got the new med kit, which is the, oh God, I'm never going to find the other picture. This is always such a pain in the butt. It's the new med kit that this right here is just the insert, which you can get to go in the already existing red crates. Now I'm going to show you another picture real quick. Hold up. And here's all the new med stuff. So the two that are on the left, the long rectangle and square, those have been up. Those are existing. You can get the insert to go in those if you've already purchased them, or you can buy them together now. The other case that has the hinge on it, that is all new. That is very much like, Where is it? Here we go. My brother knows I'm obsessed with the 788, so he made me this one here. That is one of these. It's the new military tough case looking jammy. This came with a chemical that's got to go to mind bender. Very cool insert. But that red one, that's going to be the one that I'm buying. Is I love, actually, I kind of want them all. The one that's the rectangle has two things that comes out. That square in the top left-hand corner, which is like a bandage package. And then all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, there is, I think it's like an iodine bottle. They come out. I want those. I definitely want those. But the tough looking case, that's like perfect for Lifeline. You know, Lifeline's gear is fine, but it's just, you know, this shit is amazing. That's what he's going to get. The springboard with the tri-glides, totally dope. Absolutely love it. Now, there is also a bunch of other stuff at sis3darsenal.com. Make sure you're using Destro Designs to get yourself 10% off over there. You know, I can sit here till I'm blue in the face. You got to go over and take a look. As you can see, I got a bunch of stuff here. I also joke a lot of times that I'm not as good of a photographer as most people say. I just have a ton of Sis3D Arsenal stuff or stuff from Matt from Mosmine. And that's what makes the pictures look action-packed. Because here I just kind of stood a few figures and I put, you know, the whole armory locker set up, the munitions in like the bottom left underneath like tripwire, and then a bunch of this signature mission crates that are right there. So again, get on over sis3darsenal.com, use Destro Designs to get 10% off. Now, if you are on Etsy and you happen to be the Etsy premium or whatever it's called, you can utilize that free shipping by still ordering all these items over on Etsy, also utilizing the Destro Designs promo code to give you 10% off. So that is that. Now, I also have some new reveals from my brother Matt at Mosmine. Let me remove some of these photos from the studio so I can add more stuff here. 1 second. So now these are teaser shots that you're seeing for the first time here on Viper Den Studios. Hold on. Oh, I didn't do the thing. All right. Bear with me for 1 second. Okay. I'll put one of these up and then I'll get the rest of them coming. So boop, 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 boop. And over here, let me add this one. There it is. Add here and bang. Okay. So this now, it's going to take you a second to look at it. It's a cropped image, which is the front of a new vehicle coming. Now, you're going to see some more images and you're going to get an idea of what's going on. But let me tell you, I've seen the full thing and it is freaking ridiculous. Now, I don't know if you guys remember when I first started teasing what turned out to be the Oracle and what I was saying about that. And you got to remember now that I was right. So all of the very glowing things that I said about that turned out to be true because the Oracle is absolutely amazing. So right here, what we're looking at is the front part of a fender. And it goes so well with the rest. I actually have another one here I'm going to show you. So this next one kind of plays off of this one a little bit. Ooh, hold on, I got to grab this. 3, that's this one right here. Bingo, bingo. And I feel like a wizard when I actually get this stuff done and it works. And bang. So now what you're looking at is more of a full-size picture of the front end. Now, I know it's hard to imagine it, but imagine you're looking down at the hood and you're catching a good portion of the front end. Really, really cool. And then I got one more here. That is just another quick little teaser. And there we go. So we got some insert stuff happening here. Yeah. I mean, look, everybody knows that like the Awe Striker you know, the little cup holders and like all that stuff they have is really, really cool, right? And I think it's details like this on the inside with this, same with the Atlas. It's you know, you really start to appreciate, you know, those kind of details as you get into the photography of it, and you start looking at this thing, you know, up close, and you're like, oh, okay, now I understand. You know, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where you spend money on something and you want it to kind of keep giving, right? You don't want it to you don't want to buy something and then feel like, you know, oh, I've had this for a while, and I've taken all the pics and it's all these other things. I don't know. I feel like when you buy something that's of size from Matt, you start to appreciate it in different ways because you know, as like with the Atlas, right? I feel like sorry, trying to type something here. I feel like with the Atlas, I've had it for almost a freaking year, and I can take that thing out now and still find different shit. You know what I mean? That's you know, different angles, different little details on it. Like seriously, like the back and underneath the canopy and everything like that. It's ridiculous. So I love it. So that is that teaser. I'm just gonna run through. So Matt has also developed it's a new line of different things. And if I could just get this thing to work. What I have here is the new line is called MAGS, Moe's Armament and Gear Systems. And they're just dial things that you can have now. Those binoculars come with an actual fabric strap. So if you've ever seen like famously from the 3 3/4, like Beachhead's satchel or Snake Eye satchel, those are like a plastic kind of thing that you know, like kind of like it's stiff and it doesn't look natural. So when Duke is holding those straps flow. When it's sitting down in front of you, it looks like it's sitting right, like gravity is doing what it's supposed to, and it's not some plastic thing holding it up. So those are totally awesome.
That's awesome.
Tablets. Ooh. These are incredibly sharp. So both Matt and Chris have the Eufy maker, and it's just an unbelievable machine that has taken both their products to the new level. So as you can see, the screens of the tablets are incredibly detailed. They look fantastic. Look at the back of the tablet. It looks like it's got the part that like folds out so you can stand it up. Now it doesn't necessarily do that, but it looks like it does. The detail on this is just, they're crazy, absolutely insane. They look freaking real good. Matt, I always forget the price on these. Is it 3 for $11.99? Because these are ridiculous. And 3 for $11.99 is like just a crazy price for something like that. Let's see.
The detail is crazy.
It's so good. It's so good. The detail is unreal. Hold on, I got to remove this. So, and yeah, I think it's 3 for $11.99 if I can remember correctly. Now, what I'm trying to pull up is, oh, there it is. Okay, one of the other items. So, is it not loading because I have too many things? It's not loading because I have too many things. Okay, hold on one second. Yeah, 3 for $11.99. Yep, 3 for $11.99. What an insane price! Like, how freaking good is that? Now, let's see here. We got, what is the next one? Oh, okay. So the next item from the MAGS line is this riot shield. Now, oh man, I didn't go back to look and find the picture. There is a picture that I'm going to actually look real quick while you're staring at that shows the rear of the that shield. And where is that bad boy? Because it shows you, okay, here we go. I'm going to rename it. So if the one thing about it is the one that Shockwave comes with just looks like crap because it's got the, you can only put it on one side the way that the handle is. And the dip in the shield where you would put the primary or your secondary weapon, it's not on the right side, which is, again, just another one of those things from Hasbro that's like, bro, what are you guys doing? Why are you doing, like, oh my God, why is this always happening? You know, something stupid. So hold on one second here. Boop. So here's what I'm about to pull up is the rear side of the shield. And what you can see here is that handle part will shift. So you will have two different ways to hold it, and you have the dip on each side of the top. So no matter how you want to pose your figure for toy photography or posing purposes, it's always going to look like that. Now, also what it has back here is that crazy cool secondary, and that comes out. It can be held. It's actually a very particular type of secondary that is known to be on an actual riot shield. So it's like real life practical, just looks absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to get my hands on one of those. It looks incredible. Now, the final part of the mags line is right here. This is the best picture I've taken of it, so I usually just use this one. Here we've got Outback with the brown sling. Now, if you look right at the connection point of the stock, there's the first tri-glide. That tri-glide is stuck through the hoop of the other one. This is now making it a 1-point sling, which is what most, if you're using a sling, that's kind of how they're mostly used. Now, what's good about it is you can unloop those and use it on something. Say Tunnel Rat comes with that M60. You can put it on the front and the back, and it's just absolutely perfect for that too. You can adjust the tri-glides to give more space to one side. Now, if you also look up by his neck, there's a third tri-glide, which actually gets used because what you can do is you can adjust that one to kind of catch on certain parts of different figures and adjust the sling to stay exactly where you want it. Now, this is like one of the biggest things that I had been looking for when it comes to toy photography. So the void for this was massive, and Matt from Mo's Mind filled it just flawlessly. So that's those you can get 3 of those for $19.99. I promise you that's a deal. They have the brown, the green, and the black. I love the black. It obviously goes with anything, right? The green is fantastic for any kind of green Joe figure. I've even used it for I'm trying to work on it where I can get a sling for the Grim Vipers. They have that big Gatling gun. I'm going to try to get one to work on the handle and then loop it in through the front, see if I can get that to work, because I would love to have that on something too. So Matt from Mo's Mind says it's the story from the manufacturer of that secondary. They may be full of it, but I like the story. Me too, and I'm buying that for $1. And the brown one, again, just kind of goes with a bunch of different decos and looks absolutely amazing. So that's what's up there. And let's see, we also have the aforementioned Oracle. So this was one of my favorite things to do a photo shoot with, because I had 5, different, I did 5 different shots, because it has 3, you can get 3 different inserts for it. This one right here is the medical display. There's another one, which is like a tactical. And then there's another one, which is one is the tactical. And the other one is, the bat. There's another one that has a bat on there. So you can have Mindbender working on a bat. You can have Scrap Iron working on a bat, any of that kind of stuff. So very, very cool to say the absolute least. And again, Matt, let's see. Oh, you know what? I meant to hold on real quick. I'm going to drop the Etsy link in the comments. And after I wrap this up, brother, we are going to get out of here. Chocolate. No, I don't know how I'm going to be able to look for that. I did want to show off something else. He's got a few new colors for the bar and I think I have them in here. All right, let me get the Etsy link into the show notes here. I should have it actually stored up and ready to go. There's so many different things like that I'm like, oh man, next week I'll have to make sure that I have this all set up, and then I completely forget. It happens there's 10 things every freaking show. So I'm dropping the Etsy link into the comments, and that is going to bring you to Matt's shop over on Etsy. And, you know, everything that's over there is absolutely banging. And now that he's made like the mags line, there's something for everybody in terms of a price range. You can get, you know, the shield or any kind of like small photography pieces all the way up to the Atlas, you know, and that's a lot. There's a whole bunch of stuff that can be had over there. And what you want to do, did I put it in? I did. So yeah, follow that over. You want to use Destro Designs 10 in order to get your 10% off. And, you know, when you're ordering, like right now in this economy, any kind of break that you can get would be awesome. So here we have the new colors for the bar and the outpost, which personally I think look amazing. This is the chocolate color, which is, you know, kind of just has a few different chocolate, a few that, you know, you can add this for many different like environments, and I think it will look really, really awesome. So we've got another one here. Let me pull this up for all the Arctic stuff that we're getting. We get the Digi Snow. So if you're looking for something to, you know, go with your snowcat, or if you're looking for something to go with the your Arctic Hiss that's coming, this is what you're looking for. And we got two more here. I'm going to pull these up real quick. Okay, this one right here is this next one I'm about to pull up is amazing. Everybody knows these camo colors. Back in the 80s, this was, you know, every commando had that forest green, the brown, the black. It was all just, you know, like you couldn't go wrong with it. It was just fantastic. And I feel like getting an outpost in this would really, really look incredible. And then one more, the one that I am grabbing to go with some stuff that I have in the back here is this one right here. Down away and boom, the Trench Viper. So you can't, the one on the left, you know, I gave Matt a bunch of different samples from my Trench Vipers and he got it. He nailed it. So you can get a bar or an outpost to go with your fort mods, or say if you sold your fort mods and you just have the Trench Vipers, you can then get a bar or an outpost in this Trench Viper color. It looks fucking amazing. It really looks awesome. Like, I mean, holy shit. So Spencer's later said, then the rains came and you had to enter the arc instead of having prep time. It's true. It's true for sure. Snow Leopard says, all right, guys, I'm going to get some sleep. I have family coming over in about 7 hours. See you in the front line. Brother, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you spending that time, my dude. We'll see you next week, we'll see you on the timeline tomorrow. Matt from Mo's Mind says there's a custom option available on the listings. If you have a camo swatch, imagine I can most likely make it work. And now I think that goes for a lot of what Matt has. Like if there's a filament, if you want a color to be used and they make a filament that's that color. Like what's our favorite from last week, Matt? Whatever the hell it is, orange. So I printed some Sys 3D Arsenal stuff, and I wanted to, because what I did, I was making for display purposes, like every troop builder or group that I had, I was doing like these are for the Trench Vipers, or I'm sorry, for the Alley Vipers. I made like a whole series of these so they could like have something to put their stuff on or whatever. And I couldn't think of what the color was called. So I was like, yeah, this is whatever the hell it is, orange. And I think we've coined the name. That's what we're going to call it from now on. So, but this Trench Viper one is dope. Even just getting a few of these barriers put together, like they look amazing. Like that's the thing. All of Matt's stuff is modular. The outpost, the bar, the arc cannon, they all go together. On the show the other day. Now, when I find time, I have a lot of ideas that I need to get to. And one of them is which I want to do a whole photo shoot where you can see how the modular ability of these things and how you can have the outpost and then take apart the bar and put some of it over here, put some of it on this side, put the arc cannon in. You have 360 degrees of protection. Like it's coming from a giant kid it's exactly what I would want, right? When I was younger, if you were like, give me something that you want, I would be like, oh yeah, I want this. You know what I mean? Like I want this cool ass fort. We'll get 2 different ones. We can have them in any color, but then we can also take them apart and put them where we want them. Like that was a huge part for me as a kid. Yeah, new from Krylon, whatever the hell it is, orange. Absolutely. So again, that we have the you know what, I'll just put it up again real quick. We have the the Etsy link of Matt from Mo's Mind. I'm drop that one more time. Make sure you're using Destro Designs 10, and that is going to give you 10% off your purchase over there. You know, don't front, don't wait. We have no HasLab this year, right? So if you have an itch to get yourself a big ass vehicle, look no motherfucking further than the Atlas. So just to give you an idea, the Atlas swallows the Hiss. You could put the Hiss tank completely inside the Atlas, and it's longer, it's wider, and it's taller. Like I remember, and listen, I love the Hiss. It's my favorite HasLab. But when I put them together and was looking at them together, I literally LOL'd. I was like, oh my God, that's embarrassingly bigger than this one. Like it's not even close. Like I couldn't believe it. So, you know, I've always said viable HasLab alternative, something amazing. Now also something new I'm going to be doing in the show. I just have to put it together. I'm going to be doing a commercial, like almost a pre-recorded commercial, where I'll be putting this stuff out earlier in the show so everybody can see it. It goes a little bit quicker so I don't have to fumfer with the pictures. And basically, whenever they drop a new item, that's when I'll do this so we can just talk about the new item and keep it moving a little bit better. So do full-on talking reveal ones, but I'm gonna have a commercial for Mo's Mind, a commercial for Sister E Arsenal, and I'll be playing those as the show goes. So you know, but we are 3 hours and 25 minutes, my brother. I think it is time to wrap this up. So. Dude, I appreciate you sticking it through all the way. I know because in the beginning we kind of talked about 2 hours, but sometimes the mood just grabs you, and it's you know the time goes by faster than you think.
I was happy to come on and hang out with you and be part of the show. Like this has been so welcoming to me and to everyone in the GI Joe community. So this was a ton of fun. And yeah, thanks again for letting me come on, talk a little bit about what I'm doing and just to reminisce. So yeah, if anybody's interested, it's at GI Retro Show is on YouTube and on Twitter. That's the best place to find me. And yeah, come be a part of the conversation. It really is a love letter and a celebration of the Sunbow era of the cartoon. So, and I'll have you on and it'll be a ton of fun. So thanks again.
Yeah, definitely. And also real quick, so 2 weeks from today, August 15th, I'm doing a birthday show for myself. Now, I'm going to be sending the links to a ton of people. I'm not asking people to come and hang out the whole time, but if you want to stop in for like 15 minutes, you could stay for longer than that, but I'm just saying, so you come in, hang out, say hi to everybody. I'll ask you just a few basic questions of like, you know, things that are going on. Like, you know, who would you like to see in classified next? What's your top 5 for that? And then it, you know, that way there's something that I could get to the guest that pops in. I'm probably going to have a few guys, like CG Horror is going to be here like the whole time, you know, and then, but mostly I'm going to have it like revolving. So if you're in the chat, don't worry. Most likely, if you've been on the show before, you will definitely be getting the link, right? If you've never been on the show and you're interested in sticking your head in just to say happy birthday, please, by all means, let me know. Man, I tell you, there's some people say the funniest things when I reach out and I ask them about coming on the show. Funniest, I don't want to say who it is just in case they didn't want to reveal it, but one dude was like, I was like, hey man, I'd love to have you on the show. And he was like, oh no, bro, I am way too fat to podcast. I never laughed so hard in my life. I thought that was an incredible answer. Very self-effacing, but just like getting right to it. Like, no, bro, I can't. I'm not doing that.
Well, I mean, so that is part of putting yourself out there, you know, in this medium, you know, it can be sort of, we build up these prisons in our mind a little bit. So
absolutely. It's almost, yes. It's that if you've ever seen the cartoon where it's a bird cage, but the cage is only in this one section, and he's staring through it like this, where it's like, you can leave.
Yeah.
Like you're doing that. You're going to the cage and being like, I can't get out of here. You can do that. And honestly, I've tried to, that was kind of the goal with the photo taking, right? I thought it was such a cool thing that we could all do and enjoy, because as we're like, one of the articles for Serpentor's Lair, I think it was earlier in this week or the end of last week, I was like, to take photos of your toys. This is good for you. And I think that it is, because like I tried, dude, I played a softball game. I played better than I've ever played and like I had 2 home runs. I pitched a bunch of innings. I did really well, but I can't do that. Bro, my knees hurt so bad the next day. Like I was up there swinging like my life depended on it. I actually hit 2 fucking dead center bombs. I still can't believe
All right.
it. Yeah, no, it was awesome. I was just very stoked. It's my 3rd year doing it. It's the coaches versus coaches game for softball league. And
2 jacks.
Dude, I've hit the fence twice and had 2 other balls that were caught like at the warning track. So I was like, this year I'm getting it out. And I did actually. So at the end of that game, I had only gotten up twice and I hit home runs both times. Our team was down by 1 run. We had 2 outs. The guy in front of me, if he just got on base, I would have gotten up, able to hit the walk-off home run for my 3rd home run of the night. And he hit a grounder and got out, and I didn't get a chance to get up. I think about that all the time. Now, I'm not saying I would have definitely hit the home run. I would have loved to have gotten up there and had the chance, but I was on point. I was feeling it. I very much at least think I would have gotten a hit, which may have scored that dude. Anyways, we could go on about that forever, but I sound like the guy who, pines to go back and play high school sports, which I do. I loved it. Football was great, but playing the baseball was good. But anyways, so taking photographs of our stuff is what gives us something to do where, we're not out there blowing out our knees or anything like that. And I wanted to create an atmosphere where people could be creative with their custom figures, with their opinions about the show or anything. And you could come out here and you could say it and we could all just be like, yes, that's fantastic. And I think it's really cool. Bro, let's do the Glizzy review on your birthday. Listen, I'm up for it, bro. Hit me up and we will definitely chat. If you want to come on, brother, hit me either Instagram or Twitter, and we will figure that out. That sounds awesome. So yeah, I praise for every Serpentor's Lair says banger show. Love talking to tunes. Cal says great show, great chat as always. I always forget that I can do this. I can highlight the comments. I forgot the whole show. I didn't do it once. Very good. Let's see what do we got here. It's Chad says, rad show, guys. Well, thank you, brother. I greatly appreciate it. So yeah, everybody said it was a good time, and it was true blast. Yeah, call sign. We will definitely chat. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to say goodnight to everybody. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much. I appreciate you if you were here in the beginning or you're here at the end. If you're on the replay squad, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the show. Please make sure you're subscribed. Please make sure you hit the like button. If you're on a social media, grab the link and share it over there and let people know that you saw a good show. Trust me, all that stuff helps us a lot. We're not charging. There was something else I wanted to promote, but I didn't talk to him yet, so I don't think I can say that. I'm going to hold on that. But I am Destro Designs, Viper Den Studios. You can find me on all the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. That's both accounts. Largely, Viper Den Studios is my finished photography. Destro Designs is I'm promoting stuff, just talking shit in general. But I do the whole separate thing for the photos, so you don't have to scroll through all the crazy posts that I do. You can just go look at the stuff. On Mondays, you can catch me with my brother Mark over there co-hosting Destro is My Spirit Animal Live. Big shout out to Mark for always having me on. I love that dude to death, and it's one of my favorite things I do all week is doing that show with him. So shout out to Mark. Thank you, brother. Make sure you're subscribed over there as well, which I'm sure everybody is at this point. But if you're not, there is also a members button. You can hit that. I think you can donate like $5. He doesn't charge for stuff really. So just become a member. There will be perks for that coming soon. That's all I'm going to say about that. So if you are, Roadblock is in the house. Dope show. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate it. Something coming soon, so make sure you're signed up for the membership over there. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm dropping articles with Serpentor's Lair. Again, shout out to my dude for having me on there as well, sharing them stories. Make sure you're signed up to be in the forums. You can come over. We can talk about the stuff I'm writing over there as well. Love it. Absolutely fantastic. Stay tuned. Coming soon in about a month, I'm going to have the official booklet for Shadow Strike Comics. The figures are coming, but before that, you're going to dive into the book. You're going to see exactly what the figures are up to, what the characters got going on, what the struggle is, what the fight is. I think that's also going to be incredibly great. And shout out to my brother Block for bringing me in and allowing me the freedom to create with him this amazing line and the lore and everything like that. Yeah. Oh, and Brother Block, he will also be on the show on the 15th. I think he's going to be there the whole time as well. He's going to be one of those guys. And then also stay tuned. One last thing. I am writing that story with my brother Sean Carney from Complete Carnage Photography. Listen, I can't stress to you guys enough. I'm often critical of the things that I do or the things that I'm a part of because I want them to be really great. We have some ideas that if I were reading them, I'd be like, this is fucking tits. Like, this is an amazing G.I. Joe story. This is really fantastic. So I think all of you are going to like it too. One more time, brother, why don't you give us your socials in the YouTube?
Yeah, so on YouTube, it's at GI Retro Show, and same for Twitter, and that's pretty much the only social I'm on with it right now. I have the Instagram on lock, but I haven't launched anything with it, but there'll be more coming soon with that. So just at GI Retro Show on Twitter and on YouTube. Appreciate every subscription, every like, and as I say on the show, but most importantly, rewatching the show is my main objective here, is just to get people back into G.I. Joe and enjoying it. So yeah, really appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, my brother, thank you so much for taking the time to come on here. I believe I said it to you in the pre-show. Time is our most valuable commodity. So when somebody gives me their time to come on the show and talk about these toys, I greatly appreciate it on like the deepest of levels. So thank you, my brother. I look forward to coming over and doing a show with you. I'm sure, everybody that's here in the chat will be over there having as much of a good time as well. So absolutely love it, brother. And again, I'll send you the link on the 15th. If you have time to pop your head in, say happy birthday and the whole thing, it'll be great for sure.
Love to. And awesome. Thank you again.
Oh, you're very welcome, my dude. All right. Shout out to everybody. I will see you in those social media streets. Thank you again for all your support. Have a good night, y'all.